All eyes will be focused deep in the heart of Texas on the nation's leading rusher who has put an entire football program on his broad back. But today, D'Onta Foreman faces his toughest test. Can he run over the Big 12's stingiest defense? It's West Virginia, Texas, next.
Welcome to Austin, Texas, in DKR Memorial Stadium. The Longhorns ready to take the field. They are unbeaten here this season at 4-0. And they take on 16th ranked West Virginia, sitting at 7-1, in position to compete for a Big 12 title. Welcome inside. Joe Davis with Brady Quinn. Bruce Feldman joins us in just a moment. It's been a roller coaster season for the Longhorns. We'll talk about it plenty as the day rolls on. One thing that's emerged, though, is a legitimate contender for the Heisman in D'Onta Foreman.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal this season, in particular the past couple weeks. Almost 600 yards the past 2 games. And you look at him this season, he's averaging 180 yards per game. That's the best in the country. D'Onta Foreman is big, he's strong, but he also has the explosive speed to be able to hit the home run.
Can West Virginia slow him? This team is 7-1. Tony Gibson's defense, again, one of the big stories, tops in the Big 12 statistically.
Yeah, they can stop him because they are so good at bringing pressure and being active up front. They're going to put a lot of bodies up around the line of scrimmage, try to get penetration, try to get those negative plays, tackles for loss, sacks, and then try to generate turnovers. So they've got the ability to. Whether or not they can, we'll have to wait and see.
Starting a big day of Big 12 football on FS1 Off Right in Austin, Texas. It is 16th ranked West Virginia. It is Texas on the other side of this break. Bevo's ready to go for this Big 12 matchup, and so are the teams. This is about a half an hour ago on the field in pregame warm-ups. The team's coming together at midfield. Look at big number 33, D'Onta Foreman, right in the middle of it. That didn't get you jacked up. Maybe Bruce Feldman will.
Joe, I spoke to one of the West Virginia coaches about 20 minutes before that skirmish actually happened, and he said one of the last things they showed their players last night were specific examples of opposing players turning down hits to be physical with D'Onta Foreman. They said, we can't be scared of this guy. They said, you know what, we're not going to be, because we got a bunch of tough dudes on our team.
All right, Dana Holgerson's team trying to move to 8-1 on the season, 5-1 in the Big 12. And on the other sideline is Charlie Strong, who's in the 3rd year of his 5-year deal. 5-7 last season after 6-7 in his debut season. And the Longhorns right now sitting at 5-4. They have a chance to win 3 in a row for the first time in 2 years. West Virginia, meanwhile, still in the Big 12 title hunt with 3 games left. Texas won the toss. They've elected to receive. Mike Molina to kick it away. Off we go from Austin. Ja'Cory Warwick takes a knee. And Texas will begin at the 25-yard line. 2 touchdowns better than last year in the first year in Sterling Gilbert's system.
Yeah, but a lot of it has to do now with their quarterback of the future, Shane Buechele, the true freshman. He has been so poised, so calm in the pocket, has taken care of the football. And, Joe, he's going to have to today because this West Virginia defense brings a lot of pressure, and they capitalize off of it. None better than Rasul Douglas. 5 interceptions on the season. That's the 2nd most in the country.
And it is the #1 defense in the Big 12, despite having to replace 8 starters from last year. With that patented 3-3-5. Texas begins with a Buechele run with the attention on Foreman. Buechele gets room, spins his way for a pickup of 8, and it's 2nd down and 2.
Clearly, all the emphasis is on D'Onta Foreman in the backfield. That's the guy they want to stop. So they're going to allow Shane Buechele to have some positive plays in the running game.
Buechele hands it off to Foreman this time, who's carried it more than 30 times, 3 of the last 4 games. Kind of a throwback in that regard. He's got a first down on his first touch this afternoon.
And 60% of the runs are in between the tackles. That's where he makes the majority of his hay, and he gets better as the game goes on. He averages about 6 yards a carry. By the time it comes around to the fourth quarter, it's about 9 yards a carry.
Off play action, an open man. It's juggled and caught by Dorian Leonard for a gain of 29, beating Maurice Fleming into West Virginia territory.
And that's the predicament that you're in if you're West Virginia. Because you want to load the box and stop the run, it leaves you with one-on-one coverage on the outside.
The juggle of the snap, so Buechele trying to improvise, and instead will take a loss of 1, 2nd down 11. Shane Buechele, the true freshman from Arlington, Texas, the nation's top true freshman passer, enrolled in January, won a 3-way battle for the job and has been rock solid.
And there's a big difference between a true freshman and a redshirt. You know, he's been able to come in with all the pressure of being the starting quarterback at Texas and do a fantastic job.
Ja'Cory Warwick with his first reception. He's got a first down. Stopped by Rasul Douglas. Texas on the move on its opening drive.
How about this wide receiver group from Texas? What a difference a year makes and how they spread the football out around. And each one of these guys has really stepped up for the Longhorns.
Foreman's second carry. He's got a seam and 7. The first 1,000-yard rusher, believe it or not, at Texas since 2007. You got to go back to Jamal Charles to find the last guy that reached 1,000. Foreman again. This time he's cut down. Marvin Gross Jr. was outside linebacker spot, and it's 3rd down and short.
Well, one guy who's incredibly important to the defensive front of West Virginia who's not in right now is Noble Nwachukwu, number 97. He suffered an injury earlier in the week to his knee during practice. They weren't sure if he was going to be able to go, if he'd be 100%, and he's not in there right now. It's a big loss for the Mountaineers defense.
Alex Schreiner, a freshman, in there for him. They feed Foreman for a first down, up to the 12. There is Nwachukwu, most experienced player on this West Virginia defense. It does not look like he has plans on going in anytime soon. Foreman stacked up this time, a gain of 3, 2nd down.
And as Texas continues to drive the football down deeper into the red zone, they are a very, very run team when they get down in this area of the field. 75% of the time, they're going to be running the football. They will take shots from time to time, but for the most part, they're going to feed the big boy, D'Onta Foreman.
Fake it to him on 2nd down, and then a double move to the end zone. Colin Johnson can't get it. Broken up by Jeremy Tyler, and it's 3rd and 8 as they went for the freshman who had his first 2 career touchdowns last week.
And he's really started to come on for the Texas wide receiver group. He's 6'6", 212 pounds. You can see why they'd like to take a shot like that down in the red zone. There's no one on the field that can cover him based on his size. Look at, I mean, even Rasul Douglas, who's tall for a cornerback, is at 6'2".
3rd down and 8 on Texas's opening possession.
This is typically the area of the field where Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, likes to bring pressure. But you got to be careful because you got to keep your run gap integrity. If you don't, Foreman could bust it for a big run.
Timeout in front of this 3rd down. In the middle of that huddle for the Longhorns, first-year OC Sterling Gilbert, who bounced all over the place. They hired him this offseason, and he has changed this offense, speeding things up in a big way.
Yeah, former OC at Tulsa, Bowling Green, Eastern Illinois, but you can clearly see the pace that they're playing with now and the way they distribute the football. It makes it incredibly tough to stop.
Out of the timeout, 3rd down and 8 from the 10. Shane Buechele, 2 of 3 on this opening drive. Fakes to Foreman. Into the end zone. Johnson out of bounds. And it's 4th down. Tyler again with the coverage. And the field goal team comes out for the Longhorns.
But Typically, that's a situation where West Virginia likes to bring pressure. They elected not to. They played coverage, and they're able to get the stop. Just not enough room, even for a 6'6" guy with a reach like Colin Johnson.
And Trent Domain, the LSU transfer. In his first and only season at Texas from 27. It's Texas on the board on its opening drive. So Texas takes a 3-0 lead on the 16th ranked Mountaineers. Trying to win a third in a row for the first time since Charlie Strong's first season here in Texas. Sterling Gilbert happy with the first drive as we take a look at today's 4 keys to the game.
And for West Virginia, you know, we did their game a couple weeks ago versus Oklahoma State. And they've got to play better complementary football. They turned the football over a number of times, which they can't afford to do today. But also their defense didn't end up getting stopped. Those 17 points that Oklahoma State was able to give was the difference in the game. And for Texas, it's winning the battle up front on both sides of the football. They want to be physical with that running style with D'Onta Foreman and to feed him the ball. But on defense as well, West Virginia's very balanced attack. They need to make sure they stop the run and put this game in the hands of Skylar Howard.
Gary Jennings back to return this kickoff from Mitchell Becker. West Virginia coming off of a bounce-back win against Kansas last weekend after their first loss against Oklahoma State. Texas, their first road win at Texas Tech in a shootout in Lubbock. Here comes Shelton Gibson. He gets to the 24. And we get our first look at this balanced West Virginia offense you were talking about.
It's balanced, but really the guy who's emerged as their leading wide receiver is Da'Keil Shorts, both in receptions and yards. And he's actually the guy they target a lot too on third down to continue to move the chains. But the guys who are going to be trying to disrupt that is Anthony Wheeler, Malik Jefferson, the Bash brothers. These guys are all over the field, extremely physical in stopping the run, but also blitzing and trying to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks.
2 of the 9 sophomore starters on this defense. It's been improving since Charlie Strong took over the defensive coordinator duties in early October. They swing it to Kennedy McCoy, and the true freshman has 9 on West Virginia's first play. Finishing 4th, they actually give him enough for a first down. Skylar Howard, the starting quarterback for West Virginia, grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, with bedroom walls painted burnt orange, with Longhorns painted up on the wall. McCoy's second touch ends with 4 yards. Malik Jefferson with the tackle.
Skylar Howard had that bounce-back game that they were hoping for versus Kansas last week. 5 total touchdowns accounted for. Struggled a bit versus Oklahoma State in taking care of the football. That's going to be one of the keys for this team in this game. They can't afford to turn it over because of how good Texas is offensively and really eating up the clock with D'Onta Foreman at running back.
McCoy's toted it on each of the first 3 plays for West Virginia. They are deep at running back, but they are banged up at running back today.
Yeah, McCoy gets the start instead of Shell, instead of Crawford. Both of those running backs are banged up. We might see them throughout the course of today's game, but this is the start that West Virginia wanted on offense. They want to provide that running game and that balance, and that's why it was oh so important for the Texas defense to try to make sure they take control up front and not allow that to happen. But right now, at 3rd and 2, this is the situation that West Virginia wants to be in. It gives them everything still in the playbook.
Elijah Wellman, the lead blocker. McCoy has a first down. He was tackled by Edwin Freeman, but with the extension, moves the chains.
And that's 4 straight run plays. You know, for a team that likes to, again, throw the football around. You talk about Dana Holgorsen and his background in that air raid system. Don't be confused. They'll definitely mix it up. They'll mix up the run-pass plays as far as what they look from week in, week out, but also the personnel groupings and the way they run the football and throw the football.
Now, last year in the win against Texas, Skylar Howard only threw it 12 times. He'll throw it for the first time today to Elijah Wellman, who can't hang on. 2nd and 10.
And that should have been an easy pitch and catch for any right-handed quarterback rolling to his right. Much easier than rolling to your left. Elijah Wellman has good hands, but you're asking a lot of your fullback if you want to ask him to kind of turn his body and be able to make that sort of catch. You got to get it to those big guys out in front and make it easy on them.
On 2nd and 10, and the speed out to Keel Shorts. You mentioned him leading the team in receiving. If he does, it'll be the 3rd time in the last 4 years that he's done so.
It's because they trust him. He's at that Y position where he's going to be in the middle of the field. He's responsible versus hots and sights and route adjustments.
McCoy gobbled up at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down 9. Puna Ford with the stop. Howard feeling the pressure off his back foot, heaves one out of bounds, and it's 3rd down as Texas got pressure. Number 2 in the country in sacks at close to 4 per game, and Howard felt it coming that time.
And it's because of the different ways that they bring pressure. In this case, you see, it's Malik Jefferson finding a way to his quarterback to get a hit on Skylar Howard. They'll mix in all sorts of different pressures throughout the course of the game. That's what's been different since Charlie Strong has taken over calling the defense for Texas.
On 3rd and 9, they bring only 4, so Howard has time to scan the field and find a man for a 1st down. It's Karan White for a 1st down pickup of 15.
West Virginia is going to be playing fast, but Skylar Howard bought enough time in the pocket, was able to find White downfield for the conversion.
2nd time they've swung it outside to McCoy. Malik Jefferson rallies this time. Jefferson coming off his 2 best games as a Longhorn, and that comes after he was benched against Kansas State, held out of the starting lineup against Baylor, had some heart-to-hearts with Charlie Strong, had some heart-to-hearts with his mom Teresa, who drove down from Mesquite, Texas, spent the week at a hotel in Austin, and has responded exactly how you'd want a young guy to respond. Justin Crawford in the game at running back for the 1st time. He's got it. Short gain. Jefferson again the tackle. And once again 3rd down for West Virginia.
And this has been the part of the field for this West Virginia offense where they've struggled as they get closer down into the red zone. Looks like Malik Jefferson is going to be coming off the field. Seems a little bit woozy.
3rd down and 9. Pressure coming. Howard in trouble and sacked back at the 27. Malcolm Roach, a true freshman at that Fox position, gets Howard for the 1st Texas sack of the day.
Well, you can see they have a 3-down look, but they end up bringing 5 guys, which means it's mano-a-mano in the pass protection. And Charlie Strong and Texas believe that their guys are better than West Virginia's guys, and they're right. And look, this West Virginia offense has really struggled in the red zone once they've gotten to that portion of the field. 52% touchdown conversion rate. That's the worst in the Big 12.
Mike Molina's long is 39 yards. This is from 44. Hits it well and improves his career long by 5 yards to tie the game at 3. Field goals for both sides on the opening drive, and Deontay Foreman and the Texas offense back to the field when you come back. Skylar Howard leads a 13-play scoring drive that ends in Molina's, by far, career long from 44 yards and 3-3 midway through this 1st quarter.
And the interesting thing about that first drive, we talked about the balance. They ended up having 7 rushing plays, 5 passing. Still seeing that balance from West Virginia, but it was Kennedy McCoy at the running back position because of some of the injuries that they've sustained at the running back position this year, whether it's Russell Shell or Justin Crawford. We saw Crawford for a minute, but it might be McCoy for the majority of the game.
And they really don't lose a ton there. McCoy's number 1 in the Big 12, averaging 9 yards per carry. And coming off the best performance of his career. Molina boots it. And it is Ja'Cory Warwick bringing it out from a yard deep. Let's get you to Los Angeles now with Anthony Masterson for Carl's Jr. and Hardy's Game Break.
Baylor at number 11, Oklahoma Sooners riding a 6-game win streak. Baker Mayfield gets his top 2 running backs back today, but he decides to take it himself for a 15-yard TD run. 7-0 Oklahoma in the first. Joe, Brady.
All right, so Oklahoma trying to send Baylor to its 3rd consecutive loss. Texas started that losing streak for them a couple of weeks ago here in Austin. They start this drive with a Foreman run. And not much room there. In fact, the ball came out, and West Virginia has it. It's recovered by Al-Rashid Benton.
Was a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, West Virginia.
And it appeared to me like Deontay Foreman ran into his own player, and the ball just pops right out.
Yeah.
And that sometimes happens. You kind of become surprised when your own player kind of bumps back into. We've seen that a number of times this season throughout the course of games that we've done. So credit the West Virginia defensive front for being able to get that push up front on the Texas offensive line, and Al-Rashid Benton being Johnny on the spot finding the football.
West Virginia forced 5 turnovers in the win against Texas last year, and they forced one on Texas's 2nd drive this afternoon. So a first down from the 17, and Justin Crawford, the running back, in there for the Mountaineers. It is Crawford, last year's National JUCO Player of the Year. It was really good last week with Shell out, a career-high 129, but left the game in the 4th quarter with a shoulder injury that slowed him in practice this week as well.
Yeah, and between Shell and Crawford, he's probably the more explosive of the 2 players, just not quite as big.
Checks in 6'1", 190. He's got it again here and makes it 3rd down and short. Assuming he holds on to the ball, but it looked like it got ripped out of there by Chris Boyd. He just took it from him. Texas football. Dana
Rolling on the field was a fumble recovered by Texas. First down, Texas.
And it's always the guy that you never see. Chris Boyd comes from the outside at the quarterback position and eventually just rips the football out of Justin Crawford's arm. And these struggles continue for West Virginia in the red zone this season.
And so a couple of fumbles in quick succession. Dana Holgorsen upset about something. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry. We look back at that fumble.
Yeah, well, you've got 4 guys who are your blockers essentially for Boyd right there. So he's going to be the guy that Justin Crawford has to take on, who's going to be unblocked anyways. He ends up being the guy that comes in and rips the football out. His 2nd forced fumble and fumble recovery of the season. You can see Dana Holgorsen is absolutely irate at his running backs coach.
As Jawan Sider, his foreman, carries it for 6 yards on first down. Holgorsen having that temper boiling over and had to find somebody to take it out on, and found the position coach of the guy that made the mistake and unloaded.
You can't afford to make those sorts of mistakes in the red zone. Usually you're saying we'd rather get touchdowns than field goals, but right there they get nothing.
Foreman stacked up. A gain of just 1, and it's 3rd down and 3.
3rd and 3. This is still that down and distance where Texas will run the football. Like to feed it to Deontay Foreman, even though he's coming off the field. That will probably change now their play selection. A couple guys they like to work to on 3rd down at the wide receiver position. Jake Oliver, number 6, and number 11, Ja'Cory Warwick.
That's Warwick. Oliver to the top. On 3rd down and 3. West Virginia bringing pressure, and Buechele has it knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That's got to be the most frustrating thing when you get rid of it against zero and it's knocked down.
Yeah, you said zero, and that's exactly what it is. Look at all the bodies up around the line of scrimmage. They want to try to pressure Shane Buechele, the true freshman, and see if he can convert. He's struggled this year at third down in converting when they throw the football. Batted down passes. You know, guys don't hit home, but then you get it batted down. It's incredibly frustrating because you don't know who to blame. You don't know who to put it on.
And if you can complete one against that zero blitz, it can go a long way, like Michael Dixon's punt does. Out of bounds at the 35. That is a punt of 50 yards for Dixon. West Virginia's offense back to the field after this. 5 in a row. A lot of people think that they could pull off the upset in Seattle. Texas defense goes back out there, getting a takeaway its last time. 13 over the last 6 games. That corresponds with when Charlie Strong took over for Vance Bedford calling the D. They had just 1 takeaway under Bedford. Kennedy McCoy with a cut in the hole and a hurdle to the 36 for 2.
You'll notice that Malik Jefferson was banged up at the end of the last series, walking off the field, going to get evaluated in the locker room. And they've got depth at the linebacker position, but his athleticism, what he brings in the blitz game, it's tough. They're going to miss it.
Howard all day to throw. Underneath, a diving catch for Karan White for a first down.
He's one of the West Virginia wide receivers that have really developed, has really come along throughout the course of this season, become that viable option a lot of times as a single receiver.
Longhorns bringing it this time. It's picked up, so Howard with time to drill one to Gibson. That's a gain of 15 into Texas territory, working against Chris Boyd.
Gibson, who averages, 20 yards a catch? I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's really their big play wide receiver, especially in this part of the field on go routes downfield.
In his career, 22 yards per reception. He's got it again and absorbs a blow from Jason Hall. But hung on to the football right at the first down marker. And Gibson yet to get up.
Well, Texas brings a pressure off the edge. So what does that force Skylar Howard to do? He's got to get the ball out to his wide receiver on the side adjustment. Let's take a listen. And unfortunately for Shelton Gibson, in order for Howard to get the ball up over the blitzing cornerback, it had to be a little bit high. I don't know if he necessarily wanted to extend his wide receiver like that and leave him vulnerable for Jason Hall to take the hit that he did. Nonetheless, I mean, he's on scholarship too, you know. He could take those hits. He's tough. Shelton Gibson's a tough guy.
You notice Howard was the very first guy over there to make sure that Gibson was doing okay.
Is it a force of nature or a sales event? The Season of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Season of Audi sales event.
Good to see Shelton Gibson's getting back up on his feet, and he's a big-time playmaker. You're looking at his yards per reception, but he also leads the team in touchdown receptions. He's their big play guy that they go to a lot of times downfield, especially in this area of the field. And we had a conversation with him a couple weeks ago when we had him versus Oklahoma State. What did he say to you down the field, Joe?
You said, are you going to make a play today for me, Shelton? And he said, I'm going to make too many plays. And he did. He caught a touchdown.
Yeah, had a couple big plays.
6th this year. Jason Hall delivers that big blow, but Gibson hangs on, and it's first down to the 29. Quickly outside, Javon Durant, ripped down by P.J. Locke. One of the many sophomores on this Texas defense.
P.J. Locke immediately identifies they're trying to throw the quick wide receiver screen to the outside, and Da'Keil Shorts just doesn't do his job. He's got to continue to engage with P.J. Locke and push him the outside to give Javon Durant a lane. P.J. Locke's that guy in this Texas defense that they put a lot of pressure on because these spread offenses. He's got to be good identifying runs and making tackles in space, but also in coverage.
McCoy motions out. Texas brings heat, and it's nowhere close to Trevon Wesco.
Yeah, and because of the heat, it seemed like Skylar Howard wanted to get that football out maybe before he really had to. Didn't necessarily think that he had that much pressure. They brought some, but there wasn't anyone coming free. Unfortunately, the incompletion now puts them in 3rd and long.
Snapped a string of 4 consecutive completions for Howard.
You talked about Molina's long being 44 yards. You wonder if they're short here, if they still go for it on 4th down, if they take a chance at another field goal.
That'd be 47 from here. Out of an empty set on 3rd and long. He steps up and throws, and right at the marker, he's got Shorts, who's got a 1st down. Inside the 15, Da'Keil Shorts gets 17 yards. And it looked like Jason Hall perhaps got away with a horse collar.
And again, Da'Keil Shorts is the guy on 3rd down they're going to look to. He's smart. He knows the route adjustments versus the various coverages, and he knows exactly where Skylar Howard wants him to be to make the tough catches.
Quarterback draw. Skylar Howard gets 5, and it's 2nd down. Howard said that win last year against Texas, his boyhood favorite team, he even admitted it. It's a little bit more special than any of the others. Not only did Texas not want him out of high school, though, nobody at the FBS level wanted him. So he walked on at Stephen F. Austin, an FCS school. They wanted to move him to running back. So he said, see ya. Went and played JUCO ball. And then Dana Holgorsen got his hands on him a couple of years ago. On 2nd and 5, here comes Kennedy McCoy with a cutback. Reaching into the end zone for the West Virginia touchdown. 8-yard scoring run for Kennedy McCoy, and West Virginia has its first lead of the afternoon.
This is that area of the field where West Virginia likes to run the football. Look at McCoy. It's really the cut right there, vertically upfield, where he gets behind his blockers, in particular right guard Kyle Bosch, who helped finish off in the Texas secondary to get McCoy into the end zone.
And the true freshman out of Lexington, North Carolina, has his first career rushing touchdown. Molina to add the extra point, and he sneaks it in to make it 10-3.
This is what the West Virginia offense has really needed to do. I mentioned earlier, they've struggled in the red zone this year, converting a lot of their drives into touchdowns instead of field goals. They've actually been the worst in the Big 12 in that category, only converting 52.5% of their trips down there. So, you saw the frustration from Dana Holgorsen earlier. Look, this has been an area of concern for him, and he knows on the road versus a tough, very talented Texas team, you got to find a way to convert it into touchdowns.
Let's go down to Bruce Feldman.
Yeah, this is Skylar Howard, man. He really represents West Virginia with the grit and the toughness. As you said, a Texas kid, overlooked in the recruiting process, didn't have the ideal size, walked on at an FCS program, then went to a junior college, ended up at West Virginia, where he graduated at 20 and has really played well. And so where does all this determination from this kid come from? Well, his mom, Deidre, was a young single mom who raised Skylar by herself, worked multiple jobs, waiting tables to put herself through nursing school. She told me today, I always said to him, no matter what, you will go to college and you will be something. She said it's a message she started hammering into him when he was 4 years old.
And he has West Virginia, Bruce, 7-1 and up 10-3 on Texas. And the other end of that spectrum is the highly recruited Shane Buechele. As a true freshman, the starting quarterback here at Texas. First time that a true freshman started the opener at Texas since 1944 when Bobby Lane did the job. And Buechele has a chance today to snap Lane's school record for wins by a freshman in a season. And it's a true freshman, that is. It'd be 6.
And he ties Colt McCoy today with his 10th start. This is right there next to Colt McCoy. He'll surpass him eventually.
Drive begins at the 25-yard line. Deontay Foreman sneaks his way through. And a shoestring tackle by Rasul Douglas keeps him from taking off for more than the 22 that he gets.
That's the hard part about trying to stop D'Onta Foreman. If you don't stop him early, he just gains momentum and he gets tougher and tougher to stop downfield.
46 yards for him. Into a tight window here. Douglas breaks on a ball intended for Colin Johnson, and it's second down.
Talked to defensive coordinator Tony Gibson before the game, and he said, I'd like to match up Rasul Douglas on Colin Johnson because of Colin Johnson's size. The problem is Texas plays so fast. A lot of times you kind of get lost in the shuffle. You got to keep your cornerbacks on one side of the field.
There's Gibson, fourth year of his second stint at West Virginia. Foreman hit in the backfield and able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Reese Donahue with the tackle for the Mountaineers, and it's third down.
Third and long at this part of the field. This is where the West Virginia defense likes to heat some things up.
They're bringing it. Buechele has nowhere to go, and he's sacked back at the 39. Kaiser White, the youngest of the White brothers, Kevin and Karan, getting the sack and making it fourth down.
Well, Shane Buechele has struggled in passing situations, and he's struggled at identifying pressure. It doesn't really appear that he ever sees White coming in on the blitz, and if White didn't get him, Justin Arndt would have. He was right there too. You got a true freshman quarterback, true freshman center.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the guys controlling with some of the things that are going on in pass protection. A lot of pressure going up against big-time pressure defense for West Virginia.
Michael Dixon. Gary Jennings back to return it. And in a crowd, still takes it without a fair catch and gets a yard. Let's take it back to Los Angeles again. Here's Anthony Masterson for another game break.
Baylor at number 11, Oklahoma. Sooners up 7-0. Baker Mayfield finds D.D. Westbrook for the 29-yard score. Check out the balance from Westbrook to stay in bounds. Westbrook has over 1,000 yards and 13 TDs in his last 7 games. 14-0 Oklahoma. Joe, Brady.
Number 30,
Baker Mayfield?
Texas. 15-yard penalty, first down. That's number 30's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
That came late.
Yeah. So what about Baker Mayfield? 36 total touchdowns accounted for this year. He suddenly had one of the best years of any quarterback out there throwing and rushing the football.
It's almost as if those early losses kind of knocked him off of the radar to Houston and to Ohio State, even though he didn't play particularly poorly in any of them.
Talked about the youth for Texas on offense with a true freshman quarterback, true freshman center, but on the flip side, you look at the West Virginia offensive line in particular. Tyler Orlowski, number 65, his 38th career start today. A leader up front, fifth-year senior out of Cleveland, Ohio. Does a tremendous job making sure West Virginia's always in the right looks, right play.
First down run for Kennedy McCoy, who's got room on the edge, and a first down with a flag down as he rumbles for 17. Flag came flying way back from the 50-yard line.
I think they're going to try to get Karan White for a block in the back.
Dan Romeo, head referee of this Big 12 crew.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 2, 10-yard penalty, first down.
These Texas cornerbacks are very aggressive, trying to come up to stop the run. I mean, you can see right there, John Bonney was just able to get inside of White before the play was really even snapped. He couldn't do much else, but try to get in his way.
So in the final seconds of this first quarter, first down and 18 for West Virginia. Howard over the middle, perfectly thrown to Javon Durant, who can fly and has a first down into Texas territory on a gain of 36.
Skylar Howard was patient. He actually had a shallow cross route coming underneath, but he felt the deep crosser working on the linebacker coming open and made a great throw to allow Durant to be able to catch and run.
And in this first quarter, Brady, he's thrown it as many times as he did the entire game against Texas last year. First down from the 42, back to the ground, and McCoy fighting his way for 5 and bringing this first quarter to a close. A West Virginia team that was picked to finish 7th in the Big 12 is in the title hunt with 3 games left and up 10-3 after a quarter on Texas. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman back here in Austin, Texas, ready to begin the second quarter on a perfect day for football.
We were talking with Charlie Strong kind of about, taking on Dana Holgorsen and kind of the X's and O's of the game and how long it takes you to feel out the coach and his style at the beginning of the game. And Charlie Strong was saying, well, it's pretty tough versus Dana because he throws so many different personnel groupings at you. They're incredibly balanced. As we look at Kennedy McCoy's numbers on today, they've thrown the ball 12 times. They've rushed the ball 14 times. It's tough to get a feel until they start to settle in on what they'd like to do.
McCoy already with a touchdown run. He's handling most of the load for West Virginia, with Shell and Crawford both dealing with injuries. He's got it here on a swing. Wheeler tries to run him down. Can't get a hold of him. First down, West Virginia to the 26.
Watch the West Virginia offensive line execute these cut blocks. Look at all these guys. This is the last thing you want as a defensive lineman. When the offensive line comes down at their feet, chops them down, makes it hard for them to get back up and react to the football.
So McCoy now, with his 9 rushes, also has 2 receptions. And here gets blown up, but a flag flies in. Edwin Freeman leading the charge on defense for Texas. They're going to get a hold here.
You'd have to think so because the blitz came so quick at the snap of the football.
Normally, if there's a hold, you see a little better result on the play.
One of the advantages the defense has, being at home, trying to time up that snap count.
Holding. Offense, number 57. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Let's check in with Bruce.
Yeah, Joe, we were talking about Kennedy McCoy. He's been a very pleasant surprise. West Virginia coaches beat Louisville to get him, and they compare him to Wendell Smallwood, a terrific running back there. They said he's faster than you think because he's kind of long, but he has great vision, great patience, may have more potential than the other 2 running backs here.
Smallwood now up with the Philadelphia Eagles, has done a nice job for them.
Second down, 13. Texas bringing 5. It's picked up. Howard with time. Wants White in the end zone. He got shoved and still caught it. Touchdown, West Virginia. Karan White over Chris Boyd for his 3rd touchdown of the season.
And what all made this possible was the blitz pickup. Watch Kennedy McCoy, the true freshman. He feels Jason Hall coming off the edge. He chops him down.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a completed pass for a touchdown.
And then just a ridiculous job of concentration by Karan White as he goes to the ground to catch the football and still remained in bounds. And if you're Chris Boyd, who's had a pretty good season, you just got to turn around and try to make a play for the football if you're going to be that physical. And maybe they don't end up making the call. I mean, that seems somewhat blatant, at least the way Karan White goes down. But
the ruling on the field was a touchdown. The previous play is now under further review.
So they will take a little bit more time to take a look at this.
I mean, and I don't see anything there that would be indisputable evidence to overturn this call. Karan White, he ends up securing the football, completing the action of the catch while he goes to the ground. And if you think about it, without the turnover by Justin Crawford earlier, I mean, this game could look a little bit more out of hand.
And they already do confirm the touchdown. So a touchdown throw for Skyler Howard, hitting Karan White over Chris Boyd. West Virginia has scored 16 unanswered. So a 17-3 lead for West Virginia. And Karan White, Kevin's little brother, they think has a ton of potential. Waiting for him to break out, making a fantastic grab. Howard with a touchdown throw. Austin, Texas. So much to see here. You got the bats under the Congress Avenue Bridge. It's considered the live music capital of the world. You always got to try and stop at Franklin Barbecue here in Austin.
For the Continental Club, it's kind of one of the places to go around here for some live music. Like Taxi Driver last night tells us that. I may have to check it out later today.
The 6-play, 70-yard scoring drive. Skylar Howard was perfect on that drive, and West Virginia has a 17-3 lead.
Brandon Jones and Jacory Warren back from Texas.
Jacory Warwick brings it out. Warwick to the sideline and takes it back to the 24. Well, Texas on that opening drive was really impressive. Marched it down the field, got the field goal, but fumbled on the next drive and a couple of quick punts.
Well, the problem is they haven't had a ton of success on first down, and it starts with D'Onta Foreman. He had the one run for 21 yards. Besides that, he's actually been held for under 3 yards a carry, so that's put more pressure on Buechele. He had a couple nice completions earlier, a couple nice throws, but on third down, he's 0 for 2 with a tip ball and a sack.
And Foreman will rest to begin this drive. Kyle Porter comes in, a true freshman running back from Katy, Texas, who had his career best game against Texas Tech last week. A bubble screen to Devin Duvernay, yet another true freshman and the fastest of the wide receivers. Bumped out of bounds close to the 35. Duvernay's first catch of the game. He had what Charlie Strong thought was a game-changing play last week against Texas Tech on Foreman's fumble at the goal line, running down Douglas Coleman all the way back at the other goal line. Here's Porter with a gain of 6.
Charlie Strong talked about how inspirational that run was by Duvernay and how the entire sideline was watching him, kind of thinking like this is the type of attitude, effort, and inspiring play that really changes the dynamic sometimes of a team, and it came from a true freshman.
Yeah, and Coleman was ruled to have scored. He did step out, but that wasn't the point. The result of the play wasn't the point. It was the effort that Strong and the Longhorns appreciated. Here's Colin Johnson with a first down and a speed out from Buechele.
When you watch Shane Buechele as he starts to get into a rhythm, he works the left and right side of the field, not so much the middle of the field. He actually has only a few pass attempts to the middle of the field this season.
Goes outside again. And Dorian Leonard this time against Maurice Fleming.
And I think it probably has something to do with Shane Buechele's height. Could be Sterling Gilbert's system, but at the end of the day, he's only got 14 attempts across the middle.
Porter's got a first down, but there's a flag down. Al-Rashid Benton, the tackle. Looks like this is on Texas.
One of the things that Tony Gibson told us West Virginia was going to do up front to try to stop the run game and get some penetration.
Holding. Offense. Number 42. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Was slant and angle the front, meaning those guys, when they start in their one position, they're going to move to a different position at the snap of the ball, all in unison, all at once, to try to fool. You can see right there. Blew it just holding on David Long as he was trying to come to the backside pursuit of Porter on the run play. But it's a lot of that moving around up front that makes it harder for the offensive linemen and tight ends for Texas to get in position and be able to make those blocks. Sometimes you get extended and you end up holding a guy.
Instead of a first down inside the 40, back at their own 46. Buechele all day to throw. Tucks it under his arm and gets hit by Darian Howard. Third down and 12.
Just nowhere to go with the football. Tremendous job by the West Virginia secondary. Buechele starts to scramble around and look around. There was just nowhere to go. There's the other side of the field, the bottom side. Again, flooded with West Virginia or defensive backs. No one there.
On 3rd down and 12 against pressure again. Buechele gets rid of it, incomplete. Colin Johnson had leaked open, but the pressure made it a difficult throw, and it's 4th down.
Tony Gibson continues to keep heating up Texas on 3rd down. That's his MO. Watch the cross dog that they bring with their middle linebackers. And they don't initially hit home, but eventually he feels the pressure from Kaiser White. And just not enough time for Shane Buechele to hold on to the football and deliver an accurate throw.
Buechele now 5 of 10 without a completion on 3rd down. Gary Jennings loses yardage. West Virginia, one of the worst punt return teams in the country. And the Mountaineers will begin the next. The UFC's legendary New York debut begins on FS1 with the biggest prelims card in UFC history. UFC 205 prelims live from Madison Square Garden tonight at 7 Eastern, only on FS1. So West Virginia's defense has stepped things up against Shane Buechele in Texas. They drove it down the field for a field goal to begin the game. But since then, a fumble on the first play of a drive and 3 consecutive punts.
And again, credit the pressure that West Virginia brings. And when they don't bring pressure, their secondary has done a good job of holding up on the back end in coverage.
Defensively for Texas, still no Malik Jefferson out there, who went back to the locker room with some kind of injury early on. Kennedy McCoy on 1st down, tackled by Tim Cole, one of the senior leaders of this very young defense. A gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Tim Cole in for the injured Malik Jefferson. And you talked to Charlie Strong about him. He said, you know, there's not a ton of drop off when you look at the 2 players. He still has that size and that ability to run sideline to sideline. But Malik Jefferson's just a little bit better than the blitz as far as getting after opposing quarterbacks.
McCoy again bouncing outside. Freeman combining with Locke to make it 3rd and 3. You get the feeling that Texas could really use a stop in the context of the bigger picture of this game.
And Skylar Howard's been great against pressure this year, but he's also been good on 3rd down today. He's 2 for 2 so far on 33 yards. The senior's able to handle some of that pressure a little bit better.
Horn showing pressure.
Probably checking out of it now.
A chess match on 3rd and 3. A run play, a 1st down for Kennedy McCoy, surging behind that offensive line. Breckenhager the tackle, but a gain of 5 for McCoy.
We talked about it. They showed pressure initially, and then they put up their arms almost as if they're running a 2 Tampa. There's the pressure look. Now West Virginia's saying, all right, we're going to change our play. Well, West Virginia knows Texas is going to go back into a soft zone coverage. They've got the numbers count to run the football and pick up the 1st down. That was their check.
West Virginia known for its balance. And balance so far, 18 runs, 14 passes. 1st down and 10 from the 27. Howard fakes the quick throw. He'll run it and get 5. Edwin Freeman the tackle, 2nd down.
It's good Howard picked a run to the right because Texas brought a blitz off the opposite edge. It was Jason Hall who was trying to chase down Howard. He's able to get upfield with a positive gain.
On 2nd and 5, pressure picked up. Howard zips one, short drops it. And before this 3rd down play, we check in with Bruce.
Yeah, Joe, bad news for Texas. I'm being told that Malik Jefferson has been evaluated for a head injury. He is not expected to be back in the rest of the game.
All right. That is one of their top players. West Virginia on 3rd down, incomplete, back-to-back drops. One from Shorts, one from Gibson, and it's 4th down.
And good ball. At that point, I mean, you got to find a way of bringing that football. It's 3rd down. It's going to be a contested catch. It's going to be tight coverage. Let Skylar Howard put that in a position where it should have been caught.
A couple of guys you don't expect to drop those balls in Shorts and then Gibson.
2 of the more sure-handed wide receivers for West Virginia and the guys that they rely on.
So the first punt for Billy Kinney. Ja'Cory Warwick with a fair catch, and then it hits him. Who's got it? There is a flag down. Will they call kick catch interference? There's a flag down around this pile, so there's still more to learn after we see who has it. West Virginia's got it, but let's see what the call is. Marvin Jones, the man that hopped on it. Dan Romeo will make the call.
Interference with the opportunity to make a catch. Kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
There is no halo rule in college anymore, but you've got to give him room inside the shoulder pad frame. And it looked like he got inside it. Tried to step away. You can make a case either way on this one. And Texas dodges a bullet, and we'll have it down 2 scores on the other side of this break. Well, here's the play that's in question. Marvin Gross Jr. gets called for the kick-catch interference here, and for his thoughts on it, we bring in our rules expert, Mike Pereira.
Yeah, we like the call here, Joe, because he was within a yard directly in front, then crossed over to the side, but the receiver gets a clear pass to the ball. And if you get within a yard in front at all during that move to the ball, it's actually interference.
All right, Mike, we appreciate you clearing it up, and so it is the right call. And Texas begins the drive at the 42-yard line. Deontay Foreman back in the game, taking the fake. And they go to the outside for a first down gain of 8 to Dorian Leonard. Shane Buechele just 6 of 11. Was efficient on that first drive, but has been shut down for the most part since.
And first and second down might be his best opportunity to pass because West Virginia's been playing softer zone coverage.
Foreman's got a first down and more. Deontay Foreman exploding inside the 20. His best run of the game goes for 32 and a Texas first down. "78 yards already for the Heisman candidate. Stop and start to the 13. Texas snapping that ball before the chain gang can get anywhere close to setting up. There's an injured player for the Longhorns. It's a tight end, Andrew Beck.
And he's a guy who's got 2 touchdown receptions this season on only 3 receptions. But it's this area of the field where sometimes they'll work to Andrew Beck and try to target him a little bit. But Deontay Foreman now starting to kind of get some momentum. 12 carries for 82 yards so far in this game. And let's take a look at that last run. It was a 32-yard run, but the thing is, he's got such good vision. He sees that backside cut. He has a feel for the blocking scheme that Sterling Gilbert has presented to the Texas offense this year. He's got the top end speed. You know, we had a chance to sit down and talk with him. He said, after practice, I've been running 100s to try to work on that speed endurance. He said, my buddy Ricky Williams, former Heisman Trophy winner, that was what he kind of mentored and told him.
Pretty good source to get some advice from. They talk after every game. Foreman admits that he's become kind of an historian when it comes to Texas running backs history. Outside they go on second down, and spinning his way is Colin Johnson. Hold on tight to that football with those West Virginia hands reaching in there trying to dig it out. 3rd and 2. There's Ricky Williams honored in here.
3rd down's been the area where really Shane Buechele has struggled all season. Not necessarily in this down and distance. It's been more 8+ passing situations. They'll run the football here.
Buechele pulls all alone. Touchdown Texas. With the attention on Foreman, the freshman pulls it. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, Tony Gibson might be a little bit beside himself because he had a pressure dialed up. You can see all the bodies run the line of scrimmage, and once Texas looked to the sidelines, they changed their coverage. They didn't bring the pressure. They played a softer zone coverage. You can see how they shift over the linebackers as well. And then Shane Buechele takes advantage of the fact that all eyes are on D'Onta Foreman.
Domain with the extra point. Texas cuts the deficit in half with Shane Buechele's second career rushing touchdown. It's a 7-point game in the second quarter. Back to Austin in just a moment.
Be a spoiler, but I don't think Mississippi State's going to beat Alabama. I mean, Jalen Hurts so far already accounted for 3 touchdowns in that game. So,
but the guys are really good. You should still stick around.
No, there's plenty of other games to talk about, just not that one.
And barely a touchback, sneaking inside of the pylon. Let's go to Los Angeles once again. This time it's Anthony Masterson taking us through a game break.
Well, Brady, I think you're right. Top-ranked Alabama hosting Mississippi State. Bama feeling no LSU hangover. Already up 10-0 in the second. Darius Stewart takes the shovel pass to the house. 67-yard touchdown. Bama's already won 8 straight against the Bulldogs, trying to make it 9. It's now 27-0 Bama in the second. Joe, Brady, back to you.
So, I mean, if you didn't ruin it, Anthony was going to ruin it anyways.
My thing is, how does that count as a touchdown pass? The shovel pass forward? I mean, it's like the easiest thing in the world to do.
Drive begins with the Kennedy McCoy run. He's already within 4 carries of his career high, which he had last week. 18 touches for 127. But it does not at this point look like Russell Shell will play. And Justin Crawford has been limited. We saw Shell on the field before the game, just did not look like himself. Dealing with that ankle injury. Pressure coming. Howard double clutches and throws. That's the 4th West Virginia drop of this first half. This one from Javon Durant, 3rd and 9.
I actually thought this was a good throw and a good ball. Watch him kind of sidearm this thing off his back foot. And it's right in stride. Durant needs to be able to bring this in. His wide receivers are letting him down right now.
Pressure again. Howard throws it down the sideline and pass interference. Chris Boyd pushing Karan White out of bounds. Boyd has had his hands full.
I kind of wonder, though,
yeah, I see the official's hat off, too, which could mean
that means
an illegal touching eventually.
But the problem is the ball didn't really look catchable.
I agree with that, too.
There is no foul for pass interference. The ball is deemed uncatchable.
Yeah.
There we go. But, you know, to go back to the last play, just the decision by Charlie Strong, we talked about this attitude now and the aggressiveness that his defense has. I mean, they brought pressure, and now it's starting to hit home. Skylar Howard has been one of the better quarterbacks, actually, against the blitz this year. He's a little bit better than 50% passing, but he's got 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. So he's usually done a good job of taking the care of the football, and that time he was a little bit maybe too conservative. Didn't give White a chance.
Billy Kinney to punt. Corey Warwick, a flag down as Warwick retreats and takes a fair catch on a 50-yarder from Kinney. But there is a flag down that went flying as soon as that ball was snapped.
You can see what Dana Holgerson's looking for.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 9. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Texas defense gets another stop, and it's a defense that was really bad over the first month of the season or so. Vance Bedford, the D coordinator at that point, he's moved to exclusively coaching DBs. Charlie Strong has taken over calling the defense, and you see the improvements after what was another bad game in his first game as the DC against Oklahoma. They've gotten progressively better.
And better really getting sacks. Those are the negative plays that you're looking for. You put pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and typically you gain turnovers. And that's the biggest thing that Charlie Strong talked about, was limiting West Virginia's possessions. Being able to get turnovers, be able to get the ball back into his running back's hand in D'Onta Foreman.
And here is D'Onta Foreman with a hole off the right side for a gain of 8 or 9. Stopped by Darian Howard. And it's 2nd and short.
On the right side of that offensive line is led by right guard, the senior, Kent Perkins. The big guy, 6'5", 320 pounds. Helps pave the way for D'Onta Foreman.
He's now at 90 yards total. Has a first down to the 26. David Long makes the tackle on the junior from Texas City, Texas, who is not highly recruited. It was his brother, Amani Foreman, the leading receiver for the Longhorns that everybody wanted.
Charlie Strong said he went to go meet with Amani Foreman. Amani was late. He kind of sat down with D'Onta, and he said to himself, you know, this guy's going to be a really special player. You could just kind of get that feeling when you're around him.
Buechele keeping it again. And with the eyes of West Virginia squarely on Foreman, Buechele several times has taken advantage.
Look how sneaky Buechele is with the football. Something they drill, but the little zone read fake. He uses the football, almost persuade the defense that Foreman's got it. Pulls it back across his body. You know, he's got 18 yards rushing so far today. Maybe more than that if you take out the sack.
2nd and 4. You might be wondering why it's spotted where it is. When a quarterback goes into a feet-first slide, the ball is spotted where that slide began. Here's Foreman, sticking the nose down. David Long, the tackle. Foreman, it looks like, has enough for a Longhorn first down, and he does. Now 98 yards, too short of his 11th consecutive 100-yard rushing game. Buechele off play action, has a gain of 7. Gerard Hurd, last year's starting quarterback, with his first reception in a couple of games.
Just so athletic, and that's why he's been able to make the adjustment to wide receiver.
Here's Foreman. That's a first down, and over 100 yards again. Matching a record set back in 1977 by Earl Campbell. 11 consecutive games of 100 yards plus. He's done it on 16 carries. And still more than a half left in this game. On first down from the 48, Buechele looking short. Sideline and incomplete. Pass interference. Hurd, the intended receiver. White, the guilty party.
Looked like Kaiser White may have got there just a half second too early.
Pass interference. Defense, number 18. Penalty enforced at spot of the foul. First down.
He corrected it to number 8. It wasn't number 18. I don't believe there's even an 18 on the field right now for West Virginia, but Kaiser White, he's locked on the whole time. He's just there with too much. He's too physical with him. He's got his arm wrapped around his body.
Buechele, and oh my goodness, it was almost caught by like 4 different players. Long was there, Arndt was there, a couple of Texas receivers were there, and somehow nobody caught it.
Really, it's Maurice Fleming. Watch the job that he does. Reroute on the outside wide receiver, getting his eyes back on Shane Buechele and almost coming back in for the interception.
So 2nd and 10. Might have seen a moment ago Dana Holgorsen arguing that throw is tipped on the pass interference call. If in fact it was, make the case that should have been waved off. The call stood, and now it's 2nd and 10. And now West Virginia brings pressure. The Buechele beats with a perfect throw to Jake Oliver. 0 catches his first 2 years. That's his 24th here as a junior.
Coaching staff talked about Jake Oliver, the fact that they felt like they could really rely on him. He's kind of the other guy besides Ja'Cory Warwick that they like to work to at times on 3rd down. Play those inside wide receivers. They've got to be good with route adjustments, good with understanding when they need to turn around for the football when teams bring pressure, which is so important today versus West Virginia.
3rd down and 3. A lot of bigger bodies inside. Running behind him. Foreman tripped up at the line of scrimmage and is short by less than a yard. Al-Rashid Benton was in there, along with the entire defensive line. And the offense will stay out there. When you've got a 250-pounder running back, why not? But a timeout for Tony Gibson in West Virginia before the snap.
Prior to the snap, timeout, West Virginia. 30-second timeout.
Back for 4th and short in 30 seconds. Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Oklahoma taking on Baylor and controlling things early in that game. Alabama's rolling. Penn State having a great season as well. All that and more.
Right now, the West Virginia defense is in a little bit of a predicament because if you try to sub and bring some bigger bodies up front to stop D'Onta Foreman, the problem is Texas is going to play fast if they get it. Then you're stuck with a bunch of big bodies on the field and you can't substitute until Texas substitutes or there's a chance for a stop clock.
4th down and less than a yard. It's Foreman. He's got it.
So tough to stop. He's so big, he's so physical, but he's also got good balance for his size.
They fake it to him here. Michelle throws a dart that's dropped by Dorian Leonard. 2nd and 10.
There's 3:05 left in the half. Still plenty of time for Texas, given where they're at. Look for a possible shot at some point to Colin Johnson, 6'6" wide receiver.
We have not seen them try to go over the top really at all yet. 2nd and 10. Bouchelle again in the quick game. It's Oliver again. On a gain of 5 or 6. Stopped by Justin Art. A 3rd down and manageable for Texas.
That's weird too. The running back position isn't really a part of the passing game in Sterling Gilbert's system or for Texas. I mean, D'Onta Foreman, as explosive as he is running the football, only has 3 receptions this season. One-on-one coverage on the outside.
So that box is loaded up. Another speed out. Oliver shut down 3 yards short by Jeremy Tyler. And decision time for Charlie Strong on 4th and a long 2. They're going to go. Sending both tight ends into the game, Blewett and Beck.
This is where Shane Bouchelle is going to have an impact if they do decide to run the football, because he's been effective keeping it so far in this game in those zone reads. We've already seen him keep it for a touchdown.
Yeah, they're going to use a timeout to talk about this a little bit more. Converted 1 4th down on the drive already. This, though, will be 4th down and a long 2 for Texas. So Charlie Strong here in his 3rd season as the head coach after his time at Louisville. 6-7 in his first season. They rallied late to get to a bowl game, but lost that bowl game to Arkansas. Then last year, 5-7. The first time they'd had back-to-back losing seasons at Texas since the late 80s. 5-4 this year, a 2-0 start, but then lost 4 of 5. Little bit of momentum going again, though, trying to win 3 in a row for the first time in 2 seasons today. Bruce?
Yeah, Joe. All the speculation earlier in the year was that Texas was going to pull the plug on Charlie at the end of the season. But this young team, the way they battled, got their first big road win last week at Texas Tech, showed a lot of resolve. I think the decision makers here are very encouraged about the direction of the program. And let's be honest, it hasn't hurt that Tom Herman and Houston are no longer in the playoff picture. That probably helps the picture too, but they got to keep taking positive steps forward, especially here today.
And here Charlie Strong elects to go on 4th down and 2. Foreman straight ahead. It looks like he's got it. 2nd 4th down conversion on the drive for Texas.
This is like watching a heavyweight title. Run the ball, body blow, body blow. Eventually it's going to take its effect on the West Virginia defense. As physical as Texas has been on this drive up front, really in the first half, running the football.
14th play of the drive. Foreman again. Right into the teeth of the defense. Reese Donahue the tackle. Second down, and the clock winding down near a minute.
And they're bringing in their 10 personnel, meaning 4 wide receivers, 1 running back. Clearly they realize they've got to start throwing the football now. Again, Colin Johnson, number 9, 6'6", 215 pounds. He's right here at the bottom of your screen. Let's see if they take a shot.
West Virginia shades of safety over the top late. Oh, look out on the outside. Oliver hangs on. Fleming stops him, but the clock runs. 1 timeout left.
And how many times have we seen Fleming do this? They keep going back to that same play. It's just not there. You don't have much time left. You got to start taking shots towards the end zone.
3rd down and 7. Buechele again throws short. Dorian Leonard 6 the shoulder down and has a first down. Stays in bounds. 1st and 10 from the 11.
Still got 1 timeout left. They're going to clock it here to preserve that timeout. Now all your playbook is still in play here because you have that 1 timeout. But again, you've got to start throwing the football into the end zone now.
Buechele 13 of 20 for 104 yards. He still has not taken any shots downfield.
You saw the 1 reception to Dorian Leonard earlier in the game.
Right.
That's been pretty much it. They tried Colin Johnson in the end zone, the opposite end, earlier in their game, but those have been really the only throws we've seen him try to test downfield.
6.5 minutes this drive, and the 18th play of it coming here. 2nd and 10. Fake to Foreman. Buechele looking end zone. Throwing, knocked away on a diving play by Justin Arndt. And it's 3rd down with 16 seconds.
And still, even this isn't a shot to the end zone. It would have been just short. You can see Colin Johnson kind of posted up. They're playing with fire right now. This West Virginia secondary has had good eyes on Shane Buechele, reading him in their pass coverage.
On 3rd down, Buechele throwing. Hurd has it, but he's a yard short. It's 4th down and 1, and you've got to use your last timeout. So you've converted 4th down twice. You've gone all this way. Now you've got it 4th down and 1 from the 2. You've got really 1 play. You kicking or are you going for it again?
I think you've got to kick it. The only hard part about that is it's kind of a tough angle. Because you're so close, and in college the hashes are so wide, your kicker has a bit of a tough angle to get it up and through. Now you can go for it here.
They reset 4 seconds, by the way. The clock is at 9.
But the problem is it's 4th down.
Exactly.
So you can try to take a shot in the end zone. If you don't get it, West Virginia gets the football, and that's the end of the story. So I would take the points. That might sound conservative to some Texas fans out there, but it's too early in the game to start chasing. You don't need to. You put yourself within 4 points, 1 score, still have an opportunity. That would be the safer play, and you never know. You go for it here, you don't get it. All of a sudden, that could come to bite you at the end of the game.
And they will send the field goal team out. The 22nd play of this drive that began with around 7 minutes left in the half. And Trent Domain, 19 yards. Nearly blocked, but he pokes it through. 2nd of the game. So it feels a little bit like settling when you go 22 plays in 7 minutes, and then the longest drive of the year finishes with a 19-yard field goal.
And I just thought it was too conservative. You know, you had the football in plus territory with, what, 1 minute and 44 seconds. You still had 2 timeouts at that point in time. Plenty of an opportunity to allow Shane Buechele to maybe take some shots downfield. I thought Sterling Gilbert was a little bit conservative with the way he called that. He left some opportunities out there. You look at these wide receivers for Texas, we saw them before the game. I mean, they've got a ton of size, a ton of speed and ability. You got to start at some point stretching out this West Virginia defense. Otherwise, they're going to keep putting all those bodies down around the line of scrimmage to try to stop D'Onta Foreman.
Foreman 114 yards during the first half. Buechele 14 of 22 for 113.
And almost half of Foreman's yards have really come on 2 runs. He had a 32-yarder and a 21-yarder. And that's where he's got the majority of his production from.
And he'll squib it. Bouncing dangerously to Shelton Gibson to the 21. A flag down. And the clock runs out. Texas will likely decline this penalty, and that would end the half.
We'll decline it. Holding. Receiving team, number 14. That penalty is declined. Half is over.
Let's go down to Bruce Feldman.
Dana, you guys had a bunch of drop passes. You still have the lead. What did you think about how Skyler played in the first half?
Oh, I think Skyler's been fine. You know, we're doing a good job of protecting him in the pocket. He's sitting in there pretty good throwing the ball. Had a great first quarter. The second quarter was bad. We've, like you said, 3 drop passes. We've dropped 3 interceptions as well. So, geez, if we learn how to catch the ball, we might be all right.
You guys held them to 1 touchdown on offense. How concerned are you about your defense holding up against Foreman in the second half?
Our guys are going to fight hard, but they're deeper than we are. They're deeper than we are for a reason, but you know, we got to find this energy. So go ahead and regroup, come back out in the second half.
All right, thanks, Dana. Back to you guys.
All right, Bruce, right now we send it to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
All right, Joe, welcome to the State Farm.
Back here in Austin, Texas, ready for the second half to begin. At 17-13 West Virginia, they had a 17-3 lead, and then Texas able to battle back, score 10 late to cut it to 4. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman. How about Skyler Howard in that first half leading the charge for West Virginia?
He's done well. You know, 11 for 18 so far in the first half. He's got a touchdown pass, no interceptions. But in particular, it's been third down. You know, they've been 4 for 7 on third down. He's handled the pressure well. In particular, the touchdown pass to Karan White was actually versus pressure. So he's done a good job of taking care of the football, something that he didn't do a good job of 2 weeks ago versus Oklahoma State. And for Texas, it's been D'Onta Foreman, their Heisman candidate, running the football over 100 yards so far today. He's been fantastic, and he's been physical. And you got to wonder at some point, Joe, if he's going to be wearing down this West Virginia defense. They're already without their starting defensive end, Noble Wachuku. How much depth do they have? And he's going to get some love there from Earl Campbell in the golf cart.
Yeah, the guy that he matched with the 11th consecutive 100-yard rushing game. He's already got that. 20 carries for 114. There are your total stats during the first half as these two teams meet up for only the 6th time. Met back in the 1950s, and now meeting for the 5th time as members of the Big 12. West Virginia gets it to begin half number 2. And Becker has flirted with disaster on a couple of those kicks, but just hooked him inside the pylon. Let's go down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, I talked to Charlie Strong, and he said, you know what? We just got to keep focused and take care of business. We got 30 minutes of football here. We're going to ride D'Onta Foreman, the emotional leader of this team. Another update, Malik Jefferson, not in the game. He said, you know what? That doesn't change much of what we do. We're just going to be physical with him and do what we do.
All right, Bruce. Charlie's team trying to get a 3rd consecutive win after losing 4 of 5. And West Virginia to begin the second half. With a Howard throw on the slant, Shelton Gibson wide open inside of Chris Boyd for a first down on his 3rd catch of the game.
Texas plays some of that soft zone coverage on first and second down. It's probably going to be Skylar Howard's best chance to get some completions.
Snap a string of 4 consecutive incompletions to finish the first half, although that included 3 drops. From the 40, Howard to throw again. Late rusher comes, and another wide open man. It's Da'Keil Shorts inside the 35 on a 26-yard completion.
Da'Keil Shorts has been having himself quite the year, but he's got a brace on his left knee. I did not notice him with that at the beginning of the game. Obviously not affecting him that much, but obviously something occurred there in the first half.
3 straight passes for Howard. This one dangerous and picked off. P.J. Locke.
Late into the outside is when you're in trouble, and Skylar Howard ended up coming back to his right late. P.J. Locke had eyes on Howard the entire time and undercut Karan White for his 2nd interception of the season.
So the 2nd West Virginia turnover of the day. And Texas teed up at its own 28-yard line. Boy, West Virginia, a pair of long completions to start the half before the pick. A wide snap throws off the timing of the play. Foreman still able to surge forward for 5. 21 carries for him, and he's on his way to reaching 30 carries in a game for the 4th time in the last 5 games.
It's the 15th takeaway for the Texas defense. Only 17 points this season.
Bushell hits Johnson for a first down. He'll throw again. Deep ball down the sideline. John Bird can't get there. A lot of contact with Maurice Fleming, but no flags.
Bushell started off strong, being able to hit some of those plus 10-yard throws, stretching the field a little bit, but cooled off there in the 2nd quarter. And let's see, it's now his 12th completion. Throws downfield.
Second and 10. 3 consecutive dropbacks. This time he runs and spins a first down into West Virginia territory on a gain of 12.
It's been the X factor for the Texas offense. It's been Bushell running the football, keeping it on zone reads, but right there, finding space to be able to scramble for the first down.
Here's Foreman. A white wall that time for West Virginia. Jared Harper in there defensively and slow getting up. Only returning starter West Virginia had this year in the back 8 in that 3-3-5 defense. Moved into a starting role last year when Carl Joseph, as the leader of the defense, went down. And in the starts that he made last year in replace of Joseph, he was the most experienced guy they had coming back in the back 8. Still, though, the #1 defense in the conference with everything they had to replace. Dana Holgorsen told Bruce Feldman before halftime they already are not that deep, and another one of his starters having to leave the field. Noble Wachuku, best player up front for them, injured in practice this week. Now Harper leaves. Rode that play action fake and then gunned one in there to Colin Johnson. 2nd catch of the drive and a first down to the 37.
You can't do it that much better than that as far as the accuracy and the timing for the slant route to Johnson. A tight window, Bushell fit it in through.
Now they bubble it out to Warwick. Got a cut block from Jake Oliver. Got another block to take him close to a first down, and he did get it up. The block came from John Burt on the edge. Here goes Texas in a hurry again. They've pumped short. It looks like some confusion on who is supposed to go where, and they wind up losing a yard with Burt making the catch. This didn't look right.
Tried to come back to the same play, and really the West Virginia defense had sniffed it out. It accounted for everyone. It looked like they were trying to pump the wide receiver screen and throw downfield, but throwing in the short side of the field, there was a bunch of West Virginia defenders waiting.
Second down, 11. Fakes underneath, goes back outside to Burt. He's inside the 25 and stopped by Fleming. Third down.
Buechele got better on third down as the game wore on in the first half. He struggled a little bit early, in particular versus pressure.
Third and 7. Foreman off the right side. Tripped up by David Long. Not too many times are you going to see an arm tackle bring Foreman down. 4th and 3.
Number 11, David Long. He comes to the outside. He just gets an arm around the waist of Foreman. If not for the shoestring tackle, Foreman might be in the end zone right now.
And no hesitation from Charlie Strong. He'll go for it.
It looks like Tony Gibson's going to elect to bring some pressure here unless he decides to check out of it, but a lot of bodies up around the line of scrimmage.
Now play clock winds down and they'll take a timeout.
I'll be curious to see if he sticks to the pressure because he elected to change the last time they were in this situation. It looked like he wanted to keep it on there.
And so Charlie Strong out of the timeout elects to kick the field goal from 37 yards. Domain 2 for 2 today from 19 and from 27. Now they mark it ready. Domain had marked off his steps, and now he does it again. It is blocked by West Virginia. So a blocked field goal, and Texas comes up empty-handed on its opening possession of the second half.
And this has been an issue for Texas. They've had a number of blocked field goals, PATs this season.
That is the 5th block kick they've had. The first 4 extra points, but the same idea. 5 total now.
Oklahoma State, by the way, they're just good at blocking kicks. Vincent Taylor in particular did a good job of just getting through the offensive line. I mean, look at the big guy. It's almost like he's swatting down shots in a basketball game. But clearly that's been an area of emphasis for a lot of the teams coming up against Texas, that they're soft on the interior of their protection, giving up too much space. Maybe it's Domain as well, though, not getting enough trajectory on the football.
How about this? Russell Shell comes in for the first time, and here he is. Kind of figured we wouldn't see him. It was a game-time decision. Didn't play during the first half after missing last game with an ankle injury, and we may not see him again based on that reaction.
I mean, the guy was trying to fight through it in warm-ups. We could see him with somewhat of a noticeable limp, like you had just mentioned. So it's unfortunate for West Virginia. You know, he's an impact player. He's really a guy that brings a lot of production to that backfield.
Just to put a ball on that blocked field goal, by the way, Christian Brown, the man that got his hand on it for the Mountaineers. Out of an empty set on 2nd down and 8. Howard making a call at the line. Quarterback draw. Skyler Howard with Wellman blocking in front has a first down to the 36-yard line.
This is the element to the offense that Skyler Howard brings. He doesn't run the football a ton, but he does it just enough to keep you on your toes. And if you're a defensive play caller like Charlie Strong, you got to account for him in the running game.
Previous play is under further review.
What could they be reviewing?
There was a kind of a late hit on Howard at the end. I'm not sure if that would be what they'd be reviewing in this case.
You can add targeting through the review process. That's new this year in college football.
Watch number 32, Malcolm Roach, at the end of it. That's the only thing I could think of. Leads with his helmet as Howard seemed to be already down at that point. I thought it was almost a late hit anyways on him. A defenseless player. Clearly he's down, and again, it's tough because it's kind of a bang-bang play when Howard's going down, and it seemed like Malcolm Roach was already going down.
Yeah, Bruce Feldman telling us that it was Dana Holgorsen who requested that they take a look at this. A couple of different definitions of targeting, and the one that this looks like it most clearly hits is using the crown of the helmet, which starts at the top of the face mask and goes around the helmet.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Mike Pereira, back in LA. What'd you see on this one, Mike?
I'll tell you, really close, Joe. Listen, you have the runner going to the ground, and then you get the helmet. He leads with the helmet. Now, does he get him with the crown? It's on the back side. Now, you've made reference to the fact that the crown is considered almost like a bowl on top of your head. And so it is a real close play, but me, not a flagrant kind, and I'm glad they didn't call targeting on him.
Yeah, you'd hate to see a guy thrown out of the game if it's borderline like that. Malcolm Roach, it's a good thing he wasn't thrown out for Texas, because he lightnings into the backfield and drops this one for a loss.
Roach plays that Fox defensive end position in Charlie Strong's defense. That's incredibly important. They give you a bunch of different looks, but he's responsible a lot of times for rushing the passer, but also keeping contained in a lot of the running game. That's exactly what he did right there.
True freshman out of Baton Rouge at that Fox position, their deepest position on defense. 2nd and 15. Here they come. Ron White, tackled by John Bonney. He got 8. It's 3rd and 5.
Just too soft on the outside. Skylar Howard has played a ton of football. He's going to be able to identify that and pick that up right away.
Howard double clutches and throws, and snagged out of the air by Dakiel Shorts, who had a drop in the first half. Tremendous play here.
Watch the fingertips of Dakiel Shorts. He's got Dylan Haynes hanging all over him, and somehow he finds a way of catching the football. He's just frustrated he couldn't keep his feet and get more.
4th catch of the game extends his drive. West Virginia continues to work without a tailback. White straight ahead. Dakiel Shorts provides the block, and Brecken Hager comes up with a tackle on a gain of 9, 2nd and 1.
1st and 2nd down calls. Look how much space there is. At the bottom of the field, top of the field.
Howard, a quarterback draw for a 1st down.
All the running backs they've had banged up. Kennedy McCoy with really a good first half. Didn't see anything noticeable. He just came back into the game. But Skylar Howard's going to have to pick up his rushing attempts as part of this offense. Take some of the pressure off the backfield.
McCoy is back in there. He's not carried it in the second half until now. Chopped down by Roach. Good surge over the left side of the line, and McCoy gets 5, 2nd down.
Notice the change of personnel. They brought in Wellman at the fullback position and McCoy at the running back position. Before that, they were playing with 4 wide receivers. This is what Dana Holgorsen does. He changes up the mode or the operation of their offense now, running the football.
1-on-1 down the sideline, underthrown and incomplete. Marcus Sims, who has only 1 career catch, was the intended receiver, and John Bonney stuck with him.
Well, and this is just a no-no for a true freshman wide receiver. See how he never really picks away? He stemmed a number of times, and as a quarterback, it's incredibly confusing. Usually you'd like to take him on an outside release and put the ball upfield, but it was an underthrown ball matched with the indecisiveness of Sims, which now puts them in 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and West Virginia's got to use a timeout. Some issues with the personnel they had out there. And Dana Holgorsen uses his first. I know.
And it'd be tough to not want to put him back in there when he's healthy. But I think it's going to work out exactly how Jerry Jones is hoping. I think each one's going to have success. Look at his opportunity.
3rd down and 5 for West Virginia. McCoy made a cut for a first down. Patient running from the freshman, and he glides his way for 9.
What about the decision to run the football there on 3rd and 5? I wonder if Dana Holgorsen had it in the back of his mind that maybe they'd go for it in case they didn't get it. Either way, Kennedy McCoy, what a game he's had. For a running back position that's been a little bit banged up, he's really come in and given them a bit of a boost.
61 yards now for a guy that was highly touted coming out of high school in Lexington, North Carolina, enrolled early. Has been a big part of this offense. It's him again. Chopped down by Roach.
And let's give the offensive line for West Virginia some credit too. I mean, it starts with Tyler Orlowski. He's the one making all the calls. He's really the anchor of that offensive line inside. But Pankey, Mateo, Bosch, McKevitz, all the guys up front, they're getting some push on the Texas defensive front. And then it's Elijah Wellman. He helps kind of clean up the pile, their fullback, as he makes his way into the second level.
I'm sure you read this week, Orlowski kind of called out the left side of the line, said the right side's been much more physical. They've gone behind the left side several times on this drive. This time it's blown up. Nobody was physical enough in white that time. Puna Ford leading the way, 3rd down.
That's what Charlie Strong wants to see from his defense. They just got run on 3rd and 5. Now they're on the attack. Nikhil Shorts in the slot. He's the guy they like on 3rd down.
Howard looking left, drilling one for Gibson, and it's 1st down and goal for West Virginia. It has been a rough afternoon for Chris Boyd.
Well, there was just no one in the middle of the field. Dylan Haynes was that middle of the field defender, but so much space and room. Skylar Howard just took the one-on-one matchup on the backside.
McCoy, a gaping hole for a West Virginia touchdown. What a drive for the Mountaineers, capped off by McCoy's 2nd rushing score of the day.
Watch the lane created by this side of the offensive line. That right side that Tyler Orlowski talked about. They were physical. They've done a good job. They're the younger of the 2 sides of the offensive line for West Virginia. When you look at career starts and all that, everyone's dancing there, having a good time.
Drives a little bit like some of the drives West Virginia had in the 3rd quarter against TCU a few weeks ago. And they ran a lot of clock and were able to cap it off with scores. A 14-play, 79-yard drive that lasts more than 5.5 minutes. And the Mountaineers are back up by 2 scores. Back to the key play that set up that touchdown.
The 23-yard reception. Look how low the safeties are, and Gibson's just going to run to the middle of the field. And if you're Chris Boyd, you can't let him inside. You don't have any help. Skylar Howard sees an easy pitch and catch for the big game, which set up the score for McCoy.
14 plays, 79 yards, finishing in a touchdown.
How about Howard? He's been on fire of late.
And in the scoring drives especially, he's 15 of 17 in the 3 scoring drives, or the 3 touchdown drives for West Virginia. He is 3 for 10 on the drives where they don't score touchdowns. Mike Molina to kick it. Jones and Warwick back to receive it. Here comes Warwick. And Texas will start at the 21-yard line. Shane Buechele in the offense, down 2 scores. Back out there in a moment. Texas coming back out on offense is not just Shane Buechele when you look at the youth on this team. I'm not sure Texas gets enough credit for the year that it's having when you keep this in mind, how young they are.
No, they're incredibly young, and Charlie Strong's had to deal with a lot of stuff, and you've got inexperienced players. It's tough. They're going to make mistakes sometimes. They'll eventually grow up. I mean, look at Colorado. Look at what Mike McIntyre's built there.
And they start this drive with a slant that's dropped by Dorian Leonard.
Mike McIntyre, when he first got to Colorado, they struggled early on. Now those guys who have become juniors and seniors are really starting to play well. And I think Texas, for a long time, they didn't have a guy like Shane Buechele who really changes the dynamic of their offense. You bring in Sterling Gilbert, and you're starting to see the impact it's had on this team.
This one's on the money to Duvernay. First down. Yet another true freshman right here in Texas. Fastest of the wide receivers. Gets a dozen on a first down at the 33. And Kaiser White is down. And the crowd thinks that,
well, his shoe's off. Look at actually his heel. You can see it's kind of slipped out a little bit. Right here. That's his heel sticking out of his shoe. I'm not going to try to speculate what it is, but that's the other issue. Whatever's going on with his leg, it doesn't have his shoe fully on.
And this is the reaction you get anywhere now in college football when an opposing player is down, when the other offense wants to work quickly, whether or not there's an injury. That's the automatic reaction people give.
Well, the thing I don't understand is, he's got to come out of the game. So the fans can boo and all that, but they're losing a guy who's a starter on defense. So now they get the advantage of a backup at least having to go in for one play. And a lot of times teams will target whoever that is, in particular in the secondary.
There are some people that would argue that that is the best player on this defense. We're now ready for first down. He's replaced by Marvin Gross Jr., pretty good player himself, 18 in white. Fake to Foreman. Buechele looking wide side. John Burt. It's intercepted. Burt dropped it. Douglas caught it. What a critical mistake by John Burt.
John Burt has tremendous speed. His hands at times can be suspect. And the reason why Rasul Douglas is able to come up with this interception, it's the fact that for as tall as he is, he actually has good recovery speed. Burt beat him out of the break. Rasul Douglas recovered, was able to get back to Burt to get the interception, his 6th of the year.
Among the leaders in the country. And Burt, a guy that led the team in receiving last year, has fallen way down the depth chart this year as he's dealt with injuries and dealt with drops, and none more critical than that one. Setting West Virginia up at the Texas 33. Kennedy McCoy. Not much room in there. Tackled by Nashawn Hughes. At the time as a starter all 3 seasons he's been at Texas. And it's 2nd and 10.
Texas brought a corner cat, meaning a corner blitz. Able to kind of create an edge on that side of the field. Hughes was in there as well, but nowhere for McCoy to go.
Howard. Good break by Bonnie to knock it away from Karan White, and it's 3rd and 10.
It was a break by Bonnie, but White's got to keep coming back to the football. He kind of settled at one point, and instead of continuing to come towards Howard, see, his feet are stopped at that point. Bonnie was able to make the big play.
Spread that Texas defense way out on this 3rd and 10.
There's Da'Keil Shorts. He's been the guy they've gone to.
Howard looking his way towards the end zone, and it's picked off by Dylan Haynes. That is the 12th career interception for the senior leader of this defense. And Texas able to overcome a turnover of its own.
It's just a poor throw. There's no other way of describing this. He had to kill shorts, matched up one-on-one, overthrows him, and Haynes gets his 3rd interception of the season. It doesn't get much easier than that, and that's a win for Charlie Strong and his defense.
So you know there have now been 5 turnovers in this game, Brady. The first 4, there's not been a single point scored off of them.
It's unbelievable. I mean, neither team has taken advantage of it. And that's kind of been the case for Texas this year. They've struggled to get points off turnovers, but not so much the case for West Virginia. Right. That's why they've been pretty solid in both offense and defense this year.
Foreman begins his drive with a run that goes for nothing.
Even with the lack of depth for the West Virginia defensive front, you know, Tony Gibson told us that they're going to slant and angle. They're going to try to clog up a lot of those lanes. And you've got a young center, Zach Shackelford. He's a true freshman. They're having a hard time dealing with some of that up front.
A shovel pass to Foreman, getting him involved in different ways. First down to the 41. That will count as his 4th catch of the season, and it goes for 19.
I can guarantee the West Virginia defense didn't see that one coming. Just mentioned they don't target him often, especially not in that fashion.
Bubble screen to Jake Oliver. Duvernay blocking his tail off and getting him a gain of 6. Pretty darn good spot, might have given him 7. And Jared Harper is down for West Virginia. Second time we've seen him down, grabbing at that hamstring. Well, they take a look at Harper. Time for a game break. We check in with Anthony Masterson.
Updating you on number 11 Oklahoma hosting Baylor. Baker Mayfield hooks up with D.D. Westbrook for a 40-yard score. His 2nd touchdown reception of the day, 14 now on the season. Also, Baylor QB Seth Russell carted off with a potentially serious leg injury. It's now 35-17 Sooners in the 3rd. Joe, Brady.
Not good news there for Baylor. A season gone south in a hurry.
Seth Russell, I believe he's got a bright future. You hope he's all right and hope he can come back from whatever the injury may be as he looks towards the NFL after the season.
So Harper walks off. Yeah. David Long, one of their top defensive players, he's on the sideline as well. This defense is not particularly deep. No Wachuku. Harper's gone out a couple of times. Long is out right now too. On 2nd and 2, here comes Foreman. Sticks the shoulder down for a first down.
West Virginia's done a good job of getting a lot of those gang tackles. I know they got a first down on that last play, but a lot of times you get in trouble when it's just one guy trying to bring down Deontay Foreman. He is a load. It takes gang tackling. That's what West Virginia's done today.
Buechele off of the fake. Scrambling. Keeps his eyes downfield. Sees room to run for a gain of 3 and a late flag behind the play. It'll either be on Christian Brown or on Zach Shackelford. Or was it Connor Williams? 55 or 56.
Those big bellies when they get the jersey rolled up.
It all looks the same, right?
Personal foul. Defense, number 95. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And it's caught on Christian Brown, the 5th-year senior. So that moves it all the way to the 31. It was way off behind the play. We're trying to find a look at it. Way behind the play, way after the play. Another bubble screen. Duvernay trying to use his speed. Got a heck of a block. They get a gain of 7.
Blocked by Dorian Leonard. Absolutely lit up. I believe it was Toyus Avery.
On 2nd and 3, Buechele in the zone read keeps it. And Shane Buechele has a first down. That has been effective and has kept West Virginia somewhat honest.
This is that part of the field where I don't care what team you're talking about. The quarterbacks become more of part of the run game, that zone read scheme. Once they see the end zone, smell the end zone, they're greedy. They want a little piece of it too.
Timeout, West Virginia.
And Dana Holgerson's team had 12 men out there, so to avoid the penalty, they called a timeout, and they have just one left.
Dana, an offensive guy, usually likes saving those towards the end of the game in case you need them on a 2-minute drive. A bit surprising they've decided to burn too early. Got an 11-point lead, so everything looks good. This is obviously a big part of the field that they need to execute at a high level on defense.
Part of a 3-horse race really right now at the top of the Big 12, and these standings are sponsored by Sonic, an official sponsor of the Big 12 Conference. Come on, Sonic. We'll get to it in a second. There it is. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both controlling their own destiny. Could very well come down to the Bedlam game, final weekend of the regular season. But if West Virginia can beat Oklahoma next week, can beat Iowa State, can beat Baylor, all they need would be one more Oklahoma State loss to win the Big 12.
Because Oklahoma State owns that tiebreaker over West Virginia, given that they beat them a couple weeks ago. Those tie-breaking strategies put in after the first year of the college football playoff, where they had co-Big 12 champions, and the Big 12 got left out of the first college football playoff. What about next year, too? Big 12 championship game? I can't wait.
It'll be fun. On first down, Buechele catch and throw and incomplete. Continue to fire that thing short. 2nd down, 10.
I don't know if that was the Colin Johnson or not. It was in the vicinity, really, of all 3 wide receivers. He was the closest. But at 6'6", that low of a throw, it's tough for him to be able to bend and get down that far.
West Virginia showing pressure on 2nd down. Shane Buechele today is averaging less than 10 yards per completion. Play clock winding down. Throwing again. This time it's caught. Making a move is Johnson. He'll score. Touchdown, Texas.
This is the risk reward of when you bring pressure. You leave yourself in one-on-one coverage on the outside, and number 1, Antonio Crawford just whips. And Colin Johnson, guy at the wide receiver position for Texas, who's really stepped up the past few weeks, capitalizes on a big play.
Out of San Jose, California. 3rd career touchdown, all 3 of them coming in the last 2 games.
Antonio Crawford, he's been a little bit banged up, but Shane Buechele sees the one-on-one coverage on the outside, gets the ball out of his hand quick. Johnson does the rest. For a big guy, he's pretty elusive.
Yeah.
Crawford. He's one of their more athletic players, too. He knows he's better than that. But back to Colin Johnson, you know, we were standing down in the field before the game, and him and Gerard Hurd did a backflip. When they had got together for stretching, they both, in unison, did a backflip. And I turned and watched. I said, I've never seen 2 dudes that big who can just out of nowhere jump up, land on their feet effortlessly.
He's 6'6", 210. He looks like he's bigger than 210 when you consider that that's a 6'6" frame. And did a backflip. He's the son of a legendary player here in Texas. His dad, Johnny, was a DB here in the late 70s in the College Football Hall of Fame. His brother Kirk, a running back on the team currently.
And he's the guy, when you ask Charlie Strong who needs to have a big game, he's the guy that Charlie Strong said on offense.
really coming on. Here's a freshman. Mitchell Becker quietly, really impressive, pinning that thing inside the pylon. He's done it a few times in a row. Got our first points off turnovers all day. Shane Buechele orchestrating a 9-play, 80-yard drive that goes only 2 minutes.
And the thing that's been most impressive about him is, he threw an interception earlier. He comes back, is able to recover from that. He's struggled a little bit against pressure earlier, but then you see him come back and respond. So he's getting better as the game goes on. It's really what you've seen from him this season. He continues to grow and play with that calm and poised demeanor.
Skyler Howard, West Virginia, back on offense. A first down throw. Karan White cutting against the green. Taking P.J. Locke for a ride. And a first down. It's been a good game for White. His 6th catch, a team leading 82 yards. Howard throwing one into double coverage and incomplete. Gibson the intended man, but 2 orange shirts closer to that ball than Gibson was.
Texas brought pressure off the right side, but another errant throw by Skyler Howard. And we talked about Shane Buechele and how he's gotten better throughout the course of the game. Howard's been kind of more inconsistent as we've gone on, taking a couple shots that really weren't even in the vicinity of the wide receiver.
He started 9 of 10. He's 10 of 21 since. Texas showing heat again. They bring it again. It's picked up, and Howard throws another pick. It's Haynes again.
Now 5 of Skyler Howard's interceptions have come over the middle of the field. He's shorter in stature. Sometimes you can't see guys, but watch the middle. There's going to be a zone dropper that works to Da'Keil Shorts. It made the window a little bit tighter. He tried to anticipate it, but Dylan Haynes had eyes on Howard the entire time. I mean, there's just not much of a window to miss. Such tight coverage by Edwin Freeman and Dylan Haynes.
And they whistled down. I wonder if the replay booth wants a little more time. No, the clock is off. I'll get the play clock reset. And here we go from the 46. So often you see teams after takeaways in this range of the field take shots on the next play. Well, we've not seen Buechele go downfield too many times. It's a draw. It's Foreman. A flag down. Got one, but multiple flags. Douglas and Long making the tackle on Foreman. And here's your call from Dan Romeo.
Holding. Offense. Number 55. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's the left tackle, Connor Williams.
Connor Williams is one of the better offensive linemen on this Texas offensive line. You can see him working on Reese Donahue. Just kind of swings him down. Sophomore out of Coppell, Texas. He's tall, he's lean, long arms, good feet for a guy of his size.
Actually, Michigan offered him as a tight end a few years back. Closing seconds of the third quarter. They try to get a chunk back for the toss to the short side for Foreman. David Long, the tackle. Russell Douglas there as well.
David Long's the guy who was redshirted last year only because they had so much depth at linebacker, but Dana Holgorsen told us he was really looking forward to getting him out there on the field because he's so athletic and they really feel like he's got a bright future.
He was a scout team player of the year last year while he was redshirting. Buechele, second level throw, Dorian Leonard. That is next level stuff. 3rd and 1.
And that would have been completed in the NFL. I believe he got 2 feet in. Tight roping it, good concentration to complete the catch.
And we'll have this 3rd and short play to begin the 4th quarter. Don't go anywhere. We got a great finish coming for you. West Virginia by 4 and Texas with a 3rd and short on the move when you come back. Start of the 4th quarter back here in Austin. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman. West Virginia ranked 16th in the country ahead of Texas 24-20. Well, this 4th quarter will begin with a 3rd down and 2 for Buechele and the Longhorns.
Coming into this game, Texas is about 80% running the football on 3rd and 1 to 3. You got to think they'd love to keep the ball in the hands of D'Onta Foreman, their Heisman contender.
26 carries for him today for 133. He's got it. Hurdling. 1st down. Didn't look like there was enough room there, but he went high into the air and got over the mess to keep the drive rolling.
For 250 pounds, Foreman sure moves pretty nimble. Just take a break. I think for a lot of men out there, we've all been there before. If you've played any sort of physical sport in your life.
So they bring Kyle Porter in for 1st down from the 43. Buechele keeps it and has room to run. Shane Buechele, 1st down to the 20. 23-yard run.
So much attention has been on the running back position for this Texas offense. It's been Buechele hurting him with his legs.
Porter stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Long was there first and then Arndt.
Buechele so deceiving with his zone read ball handling. Sticks it in that running back's gut and finds a way to draw the defense in just enough before he's able to get around the edge for big gains to keep the defense honest.
Has 60 yards rushing, Buechele does. His previous career high was 34.
And take out the sack that he took earlier in the game too, and it's actually been more than that.
2nd and 10. Here's Foreman, waits for the hole to develop. Hurdles a man to the 15, and it's 3rd down and 5.
I mean, we keep talking about he's 6'1", 250 pounds. Look at him. He sees the guy coming. A lot of guys try to go low just to take out his legs because he's so big. He's prepared for it. Charlie Strong talked about him coming into this season maybe a little bit heavier than he would have liked. Made him lose about 10, 15 pounds and get him back into this sort of shape.
Fake it to him on 3rd down, and Buechele gets pounded by Kaiser White. And he finishes the play with the ball in his hands. Buechele is helped up, and the training staff says no, put him back down. A free rusher that punishes Buechele.
You'll see Kaiser White coming in right there, unabated to the quarterback. Shane Buechele never saw him. That was something that defensive coordinator Tony Gibson talked about before the game as far as bringing pressure on Buechele. He didn't feel like he identified pressure very often. And sometimes, Joe, that can start with the fact that in these spread offensive systems, you talk to the coordinators, they talk about looking for space out on the field, not necessarily always identifying what's happening with the defense and the rotation, and then checking things at the line of scrimmage as far as your protection. That's more on the center in a lot of these spread systems, so you're not always as keyed in as maybe you should be in other systems.
It is 4th down, so he does get an immediate break, and Trent Domain comes on to attempt a 37-yarder. His last attempt was from 37 as well, and it was blocked. And a whistle here. Not sure exactly what the officials are getting together for.
It's good to see Shane Buechele get back up. Seems to be okay, but they've got experience in Tyrone Swoops behind him. So if for whatever reason he can't come back.
The previous play is under further review.
They're going to take a look at whether or not the ball was in White's hands at the end of the play.
Yeah, I think that could be the play here because Kaiser White came up with the football, so maybe they're looking to see if it had gotten jarred loose when he hit him.
Also perhaps targeting.
I mean, that to me can't be targeting. He hits him right within the hit frame, in which would be considered legal, not targeting.
Yeah, but you got to look at the crown of the helmet. If he lowered the head, then it doesn't matter where.
As you talked about, though, he kind of led with a face mask. Yeah. It wasn't the top of the crown of the helmet like that bowl we talk about. I mean, that's as formed tackle as you can give it. See how the ball comes out at the end? That's what I think they're looking at to see if it was possibly coming loose as White brought Buechele down to the ground. And if that's the case, it's a fumble, and it should be West Virginia football. I don't know that we're going to see anything definitive here, though. I mean, right, and it looks out. The question is it indisputable? Is it enough to overturn the call on the field? Has to be beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Bob Wusic is our replay official today, on the phone with Dan Romeo.
Just again, something of note. Texas has the lowest conversion rate of 3rd and 8+, which is what that last situation was. They're converting 18% of those conversions.
Well, they take a look at this. Let's get Mike Pereira's thoughts in LA.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough one, but we think it's out. I mean, if you look at the first contact, it looks like the ball slips out of his right arm. It's kind of one of those that, yes, were they looking at targeting at first? It's not targeting. The head is clearly up, but watch as the ball begins to look like it slips out of his hand and his arm now is off the ball. As we look at it here, all of us, we think it's really a fumble, and that it could be, obviously, it could be overturned into West Virginia's ball.
Mike, is it enough in your mind? If you're down there in the field, are you overturning this?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If I'm in the replay booth and I'm looking at this, and am I trying to say, is the ball completely out of his hand? It's really close. And when you look at it, and some of you think it is a fumble and some of you don't, then, you know, is it clear and obvious? Is it indisputable? Hard to say, but to me it looks like with the legal hit that the ball slips out of his arm. So I'm thinking, of course, I wouldn't make the greatest replay assistant in the world, but I'm thinking if it was me, I'd reverse it and make it a fumble.
This is the best angle. Watch the left hand of White and watch the ball. To me right there, it's out.
Yeah.
And it's now a fumble, and White ends up coming up with it because Buechele no longer has possession of the football. It's sitting there on his hip, as you can see, and White, as he pops up, just happens to grab it right in his lap. That to me would be enough.
And let's remember the other aspect is they did not rule forward progress. Had they ruled forward progress, then it wouldn't even be reviewable. So since they basically ruled it down by contact, that's the question here.
All right, Mike, we appreciate you giving us your thoughts on it, and we should be close to a call from Dan Romeo. But an important call as Texas presumably tries to draw to within one with a field goal from Domain. If the call on the field stands, if it's overturned, it'll be the 3rd Texas turnover of the day.
Hasn't even been announced. There's already some boos.
After review, the ball was loose and was recovered by West Virginia at the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 13:35.
What a play by Kaiser White, a sack strip fumble. And West Virginia takes over at its own 20. So Texas was on the move, but on 3rd down, Buechele is hit by Kaiser White. The ball comes out, and West Virginia takes it.
Second sack, and watch as Buechele brings it back in right there. You can almost see, it almost gets us too close, but you can see the ball's coming out. And Plate starts to feel it and realizes it's like, all right, it's mine.
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's the second time Kaiser White's had a sack on Buechele, and he's not seen him coming so far today. One in the first half, now in the fourth quarter.
So West Virginia has it at the 20. Up by 4, trying to move to 8-1, trying to stay alive in the Big 12 title hunt. Kennedy McCoy with a gain of 1. Kuna Ford makes the tackle, 2nd and 9.
West Virginia just got over 100 yards rushing for the day. And you'd have to think that Dana Holgerson's pretty pleased with it, considering Shell's been out at the running back position. Justin Crawford was in for a minute earlier, but he's even been a little bit banged up and fumbled when he was in. It's been Kennedy McCoy, the true freshman, and Skylar Howard mixed in, carrying the way for the West Virginia rush attack.
Play action. Howard lets it go on the corner out, and he had Shorts open but missed him. 3rd down.
These are the sorts of passes you have to be able to convert and hit. He had him wide open. It's on the other side of the field, but had Da'Keil Shorts wide open on the bottom side and just missed it.
Howard over the middle has a 1st down. This one he spotted well to Shorts. And on 3rd and 10, they get 15.
I believe that's been his 3rd reception on 3rd down of the day to continue to move the sticks. That's the guy they look to. That's the guy they trust. You know, Holgerson feels like he's most comfortable and relying on Da'Keil Shorts at that wide position in the West Virginia passing game to sit in zone coverages and to have that nonverbal communication with Howard.
Howard keeps. Read well. Angled out of bounds by Malcolm Roach.
The day Roach has had. True freshman. It's about him coming in and playing that all-important Fox defensive end position. It's not easy. They're asked to do a lot of different things. Sometimes he's down on the line of scrimmage. Sometimes he's kind of back behind the defensive front.
It's a loss of 4, so it's 2nd and 14. Here comes pressure, and it gets home to Howard. A safety blitz. Jason Hall, 3rd and long.
Number 31, Jason Hall, comes free to the quarterback. See the predicament that the left side of that offensive line was in. 3 guys rushing, only 2 to protect. Hall ends up coming free. Now West Virginia's in 3rd and long. I wouldn't be surprised if you end up seeing a quarterback draw.
He does take off. There is a flag down, and Howard slides down at the 35.
Well, they had 4 wide receivers to the top of the field, but they were all a little bit confused with their formation and what they were supposed to do. They usually run this little diamond set, but only 3 of them were in position. Da'Keil Shorts was kind of on his own.
Illegal formation. Offense. More than 4 men in the backfield. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So 7 turnovers total in this game, and only 1 touchdown scored off of them, as West Virginia will have to send the punt team out.
I guess Charlie Strong felt strong enough about the stop and maybe their ability to get a return here in the punt game, not to push them back an additional 5 yards and make them run the play over again.
Billy Kinney to punt. Ja'Cory Warwick back to return it. They'll drop back to set up the return, and already calling for a fair catch. Back at the 13-yard line. A 49-yarder for Kinney, and Texas back on offense after this.
$33,345.
Chen Heisman for Deontay Foreman, and we look at our Nissan Heisman watch, and he's on it.
He should be. I mean, per game average, he came into it averaging 180 yards per game. That leads the country, and today he's already got 141 yards. Hasn't been in the end zone, but I don't know. I think he might find his way in there. And Jake Browning of Washington, talked about that matchup coming up later today on Fox. 34 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions. He's another one to keep your eye on, but look at the comparison. And Foreman's done that the past 2 games that you see right here. He's done that against Big 12 opponents. I believe Ricky Williams did against like Rice and maybe Utah.
Yeah.
So
he's got it to start this drive. Darian Howard shuts him down in a gain of 2. He's not done a ton here in the second half. He had 115 in the first half. His total's at 143 now.
But that's the thing is it only takes 1 run, and he's got the top end speed to be able to hit that home run. You've seen him with a 21-yarder, 32-yarder, and the thing about Foreman is he gets better as the game goes on. He averages 9 yards per carry in the 4th quarter.
They fake it to him here. Buechele lofting one downfield. It is caught. Dorian Leonard beating Maurice Fleming.
And it was all about the concentration by Leonard to be able to track the football from your left shoulder over your right with a defender right there at your hip.
Now they hand it to Foreman. He sticks his nose down and gets a short gain.
Let's go back and take a look at that catch. Unbelievable. Fleming right there. And Leonard finds a way to maintain his concentration for the big catch.
A couple of drops for him today, but he's also had the 2 longest receptions of the day for Texas. One on the first pass play in the entire afternoon, and then the one right there. Underneath Duvernay. First down inside the 40. There is a flag that comes in late.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's Patrick Vahe at left guard.
And that's part of this issue with the run-pass option. It's really tough on defenses, but sometimes those offensive linemen climb too far downfield. And what I mean is they're blocking the run blocking. They're not worried about some of the pass plays in behind it. And the quarterback basically has the ability to pull the football from the running back and throw downfield. The unfortunate part is the offensive lineman can't be more than 3 yards downfield when the ball is released.
Try to get some back with Foreman, and Howard's there to greet him. No gain. Darian Howard, the senior nose, having a nice 4th quarter. 3rd and 13.
Howard, who was a former middle linebacker in high school, they've molded him into now basically a 0 nose. He does such a good job at the point of attack, holding offensive linemen up. The linebacker group can really run free.
Here comes pressure. Buechele gets drilled. Back at the 40 by Justin Arndt. Second drive in a row. They've ended by bringing pressure and getting a sack.
True freshman quarterback, true freshman center. Just a bad combination when you bring some of these different blitz schemes with linebackers crisscrossing. It's tough to be able to pass off and get accustomed to. And these struggles on 3rd and long, and particularly 3rd and 8+, continue for this Texas offense, in particular the passing game.
They're now 4 of 14 on 3rd down today. And the line drive punt, taken to the 20, and a flag comes in.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 19. After this is the goal, first down.
So West Virginia will be backed inside its own 10-yard line. And the kid that grew up here in Texas rooting for the Longhorns, wanted to be a Longhorn, now trying to beat them for the second year in a row. There's Bevo, the 100th year of Bevo here in Austin, midway through the fourth quarter. Longhorns trying to get a come from behind win, but West Virginia trying to hold them off, and with the ball at its own 9 to start this drive. Howard swings it out. McCoy has it. Kennedy McCoy crashes forward for 6, 2nd and 4.
McCoy got to the outside because, once again, the West Virginia offensive line chopped down the defensive line for Texas with those cut blocks.
Now McCoy hit by Hager. Brecken Hager, the son of Texas all-time leading tackler. His dad, Britt, in the late 80s was a star here. He's turning into quite a player himself. 3rd and 5.
Expect pressure from Texas.
Just barely got lined up. They rush only 3. Howard has room to run. He lets it go and has White, but there's a flag down. Karan White on the move. All the way inside the 25, but a flag back in the backfield. And it might have been Hager that they had to hold on to keep from getting home.
And if you're Dana Holgorsen, you've got to be beside yourself because they only brought a 3-man rush. As you noted, Joe, they barely got lined up. There was some miscommunication in the substitute, and you can see.
There were fouls by both teams. Holding. Offense number 53. Prior to the pass, holding on an eligible receiver. Defense, those penalties will offset. We'll replay 3rd down. Okay. Number 24 on the hold.
Well, the 3rd and 5 was pretty fun, so I'm fine with having to do it again.
Why not? With McKevitz on the hold, Bonnie on the hold. Either way, took away a huge play for West Virginia. Now the crowds really get involved.
Well, you thought pressure last time. They only brought 3. You changing it up on this edition?
In 3rd and 5, you got them backed up. Why not? Only 5 offensive linemen, no one to protect Skylar Howard besides the guys up front.
Howard on a quarterback draw, dancing around, and he reaches but won't get there. Malcolm Roach and Charles Omenahu making it 4th down.
And the true freshman Malcolm Roach keeps showing up. A lot of times at that Fox defensive end position, when you've got an athletic quarterback who likes to scramble or run some quarterback draws, they'll kind of spy him at that position, whether it's Hughes, Roach, or Hager. That's a big stop for Texas now, which should have advantageous field position.
To Corey Warwick with his heels on the 40-yard line. Kenny to punt. Texas drops to set up a return. Warwick has it and pays the price on a 40-yard punt. 5:25 left to go. Texas defense comes up with a stop. Now it's up to the offense.
D'Onta Foreman, look at him coming in today. And look at so far what he's done. It's slowed up a bit by this West Virginia defense.
Helmet pops off of Kent Perkins, and so the right guard will have to come out for a play. Yeah, so what we just showed, he gets better as the game goes on traditionally, but today it's been the opposite.
And with this West Virginia defense that's been thin up front, we talked about their best player, Noble Wachuku, being out today.
Got 4 on 1st down, 2nd and 6. 5 minutes left to play. Foreman again. Keeps the feet churning for a Texas 1st down.
You just get the feeling that at some point D'Onta Foreman might bust a big one. He has the tendency to do that when he starts to get up in this 30 carry range. He's got 33 attempts so far today.
With 4.5 to go, he carries it again. And penetration from that West Virginia defensive line shut him down before he got going. Christian Brown and David Long. And the ball came out, but after he was down, 2nd and 10.
Let's take another look and see if indeed the ball did come out after Foreman was down. Yeah, clearly he was down.
Remember, when we finish, this Big 12 doubleheader on FS1 continues. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. 2nd and 10. Buechele back to throw. Eludes the one rusher, but can't get away from Long. He's sacked for the 3rd time in this second half, and it's 3rd and long.
The center, Zach Shackelford, has been a little bit banged up. Keep an eye on the center. I don't feel like he's moving quite as well as he normally does. Justin Arndt initially gets Buechele to move off his spot, and David Long cleans him up. This pressure that Tony Gibson has brought from West Virginia has wreaked havoc on Buechele all day.
3rd down, 13. Think this is 4-down territory at this point?
Still got a couple timeouts. The way your defense has been able to stop Skylar Howard, I don't know.
It may be. It's Foreman. Tripped up by Justin Arndt. And it's 4th down and 5.
You wish you're in that 4 and 3-2 range. Then you can give it to your Heisman candidate and Foreman. At this length, that's too far. You're putting it on the shoulders of a true freshman in Shane Buechele, most likely in the passing game. Keep an eye on Colin Johnson, number 9. That's the 6'6" wide receiver down here at the bottom of the screen. They've been double covering the majority of the day.
Here comes pressure. They get rid of it. I don't know that he got there. He's stopped short by Rasul Douglas. On 4th and 6, Johnson runs a 5-yard out.
So they bring an all-out pressure. Look at all the guys coming after Buechele that forced him to get the ball out quick. And Colin Johnson does not run deep enough to be able to get the first down on 4th down. As a wide receiver, you're always taught.
The offense did not make the line to gain. It'll be 1st down, West Virginia.
As a wide receiver, you're always taught when it's 3rd down or 4th down, must situations, run that route 2 yards past the sticks in case the ball is short or the defender pushes up on you and forces you to be close to around the 1st down marker.
And so now 2:26 to go. Texas has 2 timeouts left. West Virginia can all but seal it by getting a 1st down.
At the end of the day, the play was executed.
Right.
Just not the minute details that sometimes get overlooked when you're talking about true freshmen. I mean, think about that play. You had a true freshman center, snap to a true freshman quarterback, to a true freshman wide receiver. I mean, that's kind of been the story of this season for Texas. They're talented. They've got a very bright future, but there's just little things that sometimes get unnoticed or that aren't done perfect. And unfortunately, it's tough for Texas to win games when they're not playing better, especially making mental errors like that.
They're going to take a look at this, but I'm not sure they're going to find anything to change the spot.
See that red line? It's not official, but it's close, and clearly the ball, I don't know if it got within a couple feet of the marker.
It shouldn't take long to confirm this.
What about the day Rasul Douglas has had? Coming up, making tackles, kind of shutting down a little bit Colin Johnson. Had his 6th interception of the season. They put a lot of pressure on these cornerbacks and on these secondary players for West Virginia based on the style of play, how aggressive it is for Tony Gibson, bringing all that pressure. These guys are outside alone on islands. I mean, we already saw Colin Johnson get a touchdown earlier in the game on Antonio Crawford. One missed tackle, that thing could go to the house.
Not sure why this is taking so long.
If you're Texas, you still got time. You got 2 timeouts. You obviously need to get a stop here quickly. Then Shane Buechele has to go back to work.
And again, it's not where he goes out of bounds. It is where he catches the ball and therefore where his forward momentum is. But it seemed to be that was pretty clearly well short.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
So with 2:26 to go, West Virginia has a chance to overcome a 4-turnover day to beat Texas and move to 8-1, 5-1 in the conference. Still part of the Big 12 title picture, but Charlie Strong's young defense, if they can get one more stop, would give Shane Buechele and the offense a last-ditch effort. Kennedy McCoy got a yard.
Talk about all those true freshmen for Texas. Now the ball is in the hands of Kennedy McCoy, and you better believe the Texas defense is trying to rip that thing out of the true freshman's arm. Already had a fumble earlier in the game by Justin Crawford.
Can run it down for about 1:43 before snapping. And then Texas will start to use its timeouts. McCoy again, stutter steps in the backfield and explodes forward for a gain of 6. It'll be 3rd and short. So West Virginia, the 3rd down conversion away from keeping pace with these teams. Oklahoma rolling Baylor today to move to 7-0. Oklahoma State follows us against Texas Tech. West Virginia would move to 5-1. They get Oklahoma at home next week. They can knock off the Sooners and win out against Iowa State and then Baylor. They would then need Oklahoma State to lose once more. And West Virginia would be Big 12 champs. It's a lot that has to happen.
And the big key there is both Oklahoma, Baylor at the end of the season. All roads lead through Morgantown for West Virginia, so they get that home field advantage. They still definitely have a shot, but they need some help.
Right here, they need 2 yards.
Let's not forget, too, Skylar Howard is a very capable runner. We've already seen him break off a 13-yard run earlier in this game.
It's McCoy, not gonna get it. Dylan Haynes, they'll use their final timeout and they'll get it back with 1.5 minutes. Malcolm Roach there as well.
Coming into the day, he had 21 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, but he's shown up a number of times in the backfield. Again, one of those true freshmen. He's got such a bright future here. You gotta love the fact that Charlie Strong's defense and his team stepping up. They needed a stop, they go get it done. Now they put it in the offense's hands with a chance to win the football game.
If you're tuning in for Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, we'll get you there as soon as this game finishes. In the meantime, if you're trying to find kickoff, go to FS2. It will also stream live on Fox Sports Go. So 1:33 and the punt team out for West Virginia. Ja'Cory Warwick back at the 14. They'll set up the return. High punt. Stays away from Warwick. Bounces out of bounds at the 13. And here comes Shane Buechele, the true freshman from Lamar High School in Arlington, Texas. He won a 3-way battle for the job during the offseason after enrolling in January. He's been so rock solid. Led him to that come-from-behind win against Baylor, but has a chance for another signature moment here.
Let's go back to that 2-minute drive before the first half. They didn't take many shots vertically. They've got to here. The game's on the line. They need a touchdown. They're going to have to stretch the field with no timeouts. Now, the clock does stop after a first down in college football, but they've got a lot of room so they can start taking some shots to the end zone.
(27 of 39 today for 257. One touchdown, one pick. They need to go 88 yards, and they begin the drive. In trouble. Buechele will throw it away. Pressure coming from Darian Howard. 2nd and 10. Dana Holgorsen arguing for intentional grounding, saying that he wasn't out of the pocket.
Yeah, and it looked like he might have broke it when he first scrambled to the left and he came back into it. But either way, the West Virginia secondary has done a tremendous job covering downfield. But at some point, too, you got to wonder, will Tony Gibson dial up pressure? It's given Shane Buechele some fits. It's been mostly on 3rd down. That's where they really like to bring it.
They just now threw the flag.
So he's got a break outside of these tackles. That was the guard. And it looks like he might have there. He definitely, obviously didn't, if they didn't think he did initially to the left, he didn't coming back to the right. It's a flashback of like one of those times you line up underneath the guard instead of the center.
Happens to everybody, right?
Mix up sometimes. You mix up some of those big guys up front.
Correction. There is no foul.
Wow.
It's been determined that number 8 was in the vicinity of the pass. The quarterback was in the pocket. The pass did cross the line of scrimmage, and there was a receiver in the area.
All right, so Dorian Leonard was running the crossing route. They deem him close enough to wipe off the penalty. So 2nd and 10.
And Dana was right. He never broke the pocket. That's the other key element to that.
8 men dropping into coverage as Buechele steps up, lets it go into traffic, and it is caught by Leonard between 2 white shirts for 28 yards.
How clutch has he been today for this Texas offense?
Buechele well protected, lets it go. Foreman is out there, and it's incomplete. Coverage from Douglas. 2nd down with 1:01. First time they've targeted their leading receiver, Amani Foreman.
Doesn't even have a catch today, and you mentioned it. He's a guy who can really take the top off of a defense with his speed. Again, credit the defense of West Virginia, the job they've done.
No timeouts left for the Longhorns with 1:01 to play. Again, 8 in coverage for the Mountaineers. Buechele goes underneath. Here's Foreman sticking the shoulder down. He's short of the first down marker, and that clock will run. Can't waste a play, so they won't spike it. That is a first down. Deontay Foreman trying to get the sideline and won't. But the clock will stop for the chains to move with 36.
This is where you got to be efficient with your operation. Get your wide receivers back from running downfield. Get that play communicated and roll.
And now West Virginia wants a timeout. Dana Holgorsen losing his mind.
Timeout. West Virginia. 30-second timeout.
You got to be careful here.
I mean, he sure is giving them a tongue lashing. And I'm not exactly sure what he's so fired up or upset about.
Seems to be that he's mad that he didn't get the timeout sooner. Or he didn't want the timeout. I don't know. As it stands, no timeouts left for either side with 32 seconds.
You got to wonder what the communication was in the first place. I mean, how else would they have confused that he didn't want the timeout? You're not going to tell the guy that, You didn't want the timeout, right? I mean, they're just going to continue to keep playing at that point. So he must have at some point told him maybe he wanted to, and then all of a sudden backed off that decision.
Glass case of emotions right now. 32 seconds on first down. Buechele to throw. Under pressure. Steps away. Floats one. It is tipped and incomplete. It hung in the air forever. Several white shirts had a chance. None of them could pull it in, and Texas still alive.
And Buechele just throwing up to Jake Oliver, and 4 different defenders could have possibly made a play on it. Rasul Douglas almost with his 7th interception of the season.
2nd and 10. Buechele trying to find room, and does. It's Colin Johnson. First down inside the 30. No timeouts. Clock stops for the chains to move.
They've got to spike the football and then start taking shots to the end zone. They might only have one chance.
So 11 seconds.
And this they cannot have. Colin Johnson's coming off the field. It looks like something's wrong with possibly his right arm, but that's the guy, if you're going to throw up a prayer to, you got to have him on the field. He's 6'6". No one's even close to as tall or has the reach of that young man. See his shoulders taped up.
11 seconds. Couple of plays left for Texas. Buechele throws. It is incomplete. Dorian Leonard, the intended receiver, and now you either have a speed out to the sideline or one shot to the end zone.
No, it's got to be a Hail Mary. I mean, and they didn't really even have time for that, because even though the clock stops at a first down, that clock could have easily run out as they're trying to get everyone situated and spike it if they did get the first down the last play. So this is going to be a Hail Mary. And look at them going to throw to number 9, Colin Johnson. He's back in the game.
Buechele rolling. He'll send up a prayer. Back of the end zone. It is tipped up and incomplete. And West Virginia hangs on.
And Buechele did all he could to roll away from the pressure that West Virginia brought. They're playing man coverage on the back end, a bit of a risk. But that's the style that West Virginia plays. And
previous play is under further review.
And guess who? Rasul Douglas. What a game that young man has had. He's the guy to come in there really to tip the football out of bounds. And you can see clearly they're trying to get it to Colin Johnson, the tallest player, their jump man, in the Hail Mary situation.
With Hurd trailing there on a potential tip, and it wasn't far off from being tipped to a spot where Hurd could have had a chance.
You'd like that football to be more in the middle of the end zone, so you've got the opportunity for Johnson to tip it forward or back.
And they're reviewing something here.
Look at how many people are on the field.
There's 11 for West Virginia.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Excuse me, that's 12. I hit it twice with my finger.
There's a roar from the stadium.
Am I missing something? Right here. Right here. It's Jared Harper. He runs off the field at the end.
So they continue to take a look at this. And the folks here at DKR seem to see something on that giant video board.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Right.
My finger hit the screen by accident before, which made it look like 12.
Did that go over the video board and folks see your 12? And they may have.
I think they got excited because
you just gave false hope to 100,000 at DKR.
Oh no!
Oh no!
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The defense only had 11 players on the field. The game is over.
I mean, literally, the finger hit the telestrator and put an additional fender on there. Oh, no.
Oh, man. Delete your Twitter. 24-20 final score. West Virginia survives a 4-turnover day to move to 8-1 and 5-1 in the Big 12. For Brady Quinn and Bruce Feldman, Joe Davis saying so long from Austin. Now we get you to Stillwater, Texas Tech and Oklahoma State with Spencer Tillman. Here's Tim Brando.